ESPN kicking off another season of Sunday Night Football. Makes those of us who have been here a long time very proud, even those who have been here a short time. Great rivalry. Raiders at the Chiefs. Mike Patrick, Joe Theismann, Mark Malone on the call from Arrowhead. Gentlemen.
Thank you, Chris. And this is Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, where a sellout crowd of 78,000 will watch the renewal of a great rivalry, the Raiders and the Chiefs.
When the Chiefs played the Raiders, it was war. It was the time to dig as deep as you possibly could to find a way to beat these guys.
You knew that later on that afternoon, when it was all over, you were going to be sore. And I always likened it to maybe two heavyweight fighters.
This rivalry was built on games of extreme consequence, and tonight is no different. The Raiders scuffled through the first half of the season at 4-4 and now must pull together to make that promised playoff run. The Chiefs still think Super Bowl title, yet still seek the consistency that marks all championship teams. Old rivals with the same old goals in what promises to be the same old war. By Atlanta today, so Kansas City can move to within one game of the division lead with a win, and the Raiders need a victory to pull into a second-place tie with the Chiefs. Good evening, everybody. Mike Patrick along with Joe Theismann. It's great to have you with us for our 8th year of Sunday Night NFL on ESPN, and we started off with classic rivals. Joe, a lot of people thought that the Raiders would end up in the Super Bowl this year, but they have had to scratch and claw just to get back to 500 after that awful start and more than their share of controversy. The good news is Art Shell says now he has a really good feeling about this team.
Well, Mike, you bring up an interesting point. Everybody felt that the Raiders could be a Super Bowl team if they could just find a running game. And through the first 6 weeks of the season, they've really struggled. But and now they finally have made a commitment to run the football the last couple of weeks. Harvey Williams has put together back-to-back 100-yard rushing games. And just this week, the former Chief has certainly done his share of taunting of his old teammates. The Raiders and the Chiefs have always been great physical contests. That's exactly what I expect tonight in this one, Mike.
And those are the kinds of games that have given the Chiefs trouble this year. They started 3-0. They look like the class of the conference, but they have been wildly inconsistent. They're coming off a terrible beating at the hands of Buffalo. They are 5-3, but it looks like a shaky 5-3.
Well, coaches always get a feel for their football teams right about this time. And Marty Schottenheimer's got to be thrilled with the production that he's getting out of Joe Montana and Marcus Allen. But when he looks at his defense, he's got to feel like there's 3 areas of problems. First of all, they've been inconsistent in the secondary. Secondly, giving up way too many big plays. Thirdly, they can't stop the run, particularly in the nickel. Now, Marty has had a great run against the Raiders in his tenure as head coach of the Chiefs. And the way they've done it, Mike, is they've done it with great physical football on the defensive side, and they've created turnovers. Sounds like that's the formula they're going to need tonight if they hope to beat the Raiders.
Absolutely. And one of the additions to our coverage this year will come from the sideline. Mark Malone is going to have something special for us each week. Mark, it's wonderful to have you with us.
Well, thanks, Mike. It's great to be part of this NFL Sunday night team. You know, the game of football continues to become more and more specialized, and so too does our coverage. I'm going to spend most of the night tonight focusing with an ISO camera on one player who should have an impact on this game. We call it the Sunday Night Spotlight. And in the spotlight tonight is Chiefs linebacker Derek Thomas. You see him in a replay when he makes a sack, and we're going to take that a step further. We're going to show you his hands and his feet, the technique he uses against the pass and the run, and how the Raiders are going to try to keep him in check. And we'll put that together in a little video report card, and we'll present it to you quarterly so you can see what kind of an influence Derek Thomas has on this game. Mike?
All right, thank you, Mark. And Derek Thomas is certainly one of the reasons that Marty Schottenheimer has had such great success against the Raiders and is perfect here at Arrowhead. Art Shell has never left this stadium with a win as a head coach. Overall, 2-7 against the Chiefs since taking over the reins of the Los Angeles Raiders. These teams have been playing each other since 1960. The Raiders with a slight lead in the series, but the Chiefs have won 9 of the last 11 ball games. And tonight, wearing the throwback uniforms from 1963, the Raiders will get the ball as we start. Lynn Elliott to kick it off to Ismail and Wright. There is Ismail, number 8 in the AFC, in kickoff returns. From the 5, the rocket across the 25 to about the 26. The Raider offense, Jeff Hostetler threw for over 3,000 yards last year. He's on target to do it again. The Raiders wanted a leader, and they got it. Harvey Williams has given them something they haven't had in a long time, a ground game, back-to-back 100-yard games. Steve Wisniewski, a combination of size and strength that's made him the anchor of the offensive line. He's been voted to 4 straight Pro Bowls. Beautiful atmosphere here at Arrowhead Stadium with a sellout crowd and 2 teams that go for the throat. Williams and Rathman behind Hostetler. Play action. Hostetler goes for everything on the first play, and White for the interception. The former Detroit Lion picks it off, intended for Tim Brown at the 25, but double coverage, and William White gets his 2nd interception of the season.
The Los Angeles Raiders had a good idea. Everybody's been talking about running the football, running the football. They come out with play action, but you got to see the safety. Hostetler makes the fake. Tim Brown runs a little out and up. Okay, he's got Mark Collins, but what about the safety coming from the right? Jeff Hostetler has missed all his long passes this year high, but there's the heat from Neil Smith. You got to let the QB know you're in the area.
For Haas, the 10th interception as opposed to 11 touchdown passes in Montana. Will go to work. Play action to Allen. Throws underneath and completes to Derek Walker, his tight end. Let's take a look at that Chief unit. Montana, at the ripe old age of 38, has already had 4 300-yard games. He's on a pace to throw for over 4,000, which would be a career best. Marcus Allen still produces most of the running game. 118 career touchdowns. He's number 4 all time. And one of the most underrated linemen in the game, Tim Grunhard. He's been a starter since the 3rd game of his rookie year. Allen on the toss behind Kimball Anders. Cuts it back, gets it up to the 39-yard line. On defense for the Raiders, Chester McLaughlin has overcome injuries and is now on the verge of stardom. 5 sacks coming from the inside. For the first time in their history, the Raiders used their first draft choice for a linebacker. Rob Fredrickson plays the left outside on a unit that needed help. And Pro Bowler Terry McDaniel has been the AFC Defensive Player of the Week twice this year and matched a career-high 5 interceptions. Heat on Montana. And he chucks it into the bench area. There is a flag down.
Joe using that hard count. He feels like the Raiders are coming. They go hard count. All of a sudden you get him. Don't forget, you only have to get him into the neutral zone, and that's the width of the football. They do not have to cross over to the other side of the line of scrimmage.
Offside. Defense, number 91. 5-yard penalty. Repeat the down. First down.
Art Shell told us last night, Mike, the one thing that's killed his ball club all year has been turnovers. That's been his biggest concern. It's been his biggest concern in the games against the Kansas City Chiefs. They started out first pass, interception.
And these are the 2 most penalized teams in the NFL. That interception, by the way, the first in 23 quarters for Kansas City's defense, which lives by the turnover. On 1st and 5, Montana. Marcus Allen in the flat, and he's immediately planted as soon as he touched the ball by Winston Moss.
Pass is complete to Marcus Allen.
Protecting the middle the way Joe Montana handles the offense is essential. Tim Grunhard, the center, number 61, on Chester McLaughlin, number 91. And he has a big load. He could be one of the top 5 tackles in football, Mike. Marcus Allen and Winston Moss taking him down. Don't let them run after they catch the football.
2nd and 4. Marcus dances through a hole. Winston Moss had it by the ankles. He'll pick up maybe
Marcus
one.
Allen, the ball carrier.
I think right now is when Montana is most dangerous. The style of this offense gives him 5 receivers to throw the football to, Mike. Usually you defend a back, maybe a tight end. Don't worry about the wide outs on 3rd and 2. But if you're a Kansas City Chief offense, you can spread it out all the way across the board.
You know, right now, 38 doesn't sound very old for Montana after George Foreman last night. Marcus Allen, a flanker to the near side. Montana looks to the far side, under pressure, and down he goes. Sacked at the 38, Chester McLaughlin. Art Shell just couldn't say enough about this guy. He already thinks he is in the elite of defensive tackles among the NFL players, and his potential is unlimited.
I think he's the kind of a defensive lineman, like a Reggie White. You cannot block him one-on-one. You have to give your center or guards help. He's just too quick and too powerful.
Aguiar will kick to Tim Brown, who was 4th in the conference, averaging more than 12 yards a return. Beautiful punt by Aguiar. Drives Brown all the way back to the 9-yard line. Up the sideline and out of bounds past the 20. 51-yard punt, but a 14-yard return. We'll be back to Kansas City after this.
ESPN Sunday Night NFL is brought to you by Cadillac and your Cadillac dealer, creating a higher standard. By Pep Boys. For quality parts, accessories, and service, come to Pep Boys, America's Automotive Supercenter. And by McDonald's. What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
Early first quarter here in Kansas City, 11:36 to go. No score. First time the Raiders had it. First play, interception. Derek Thomas, the focal point of Kansas City's defense, along with Neil Smith, and the Raiders will try to protect their quarterback from those guys. Harvey Williams, ouch, at the 25. Harry Simeon drilled him. All-Pro Neil Smith, playing with a surgically repaired thumb, still leads the line in tackles and has 5.5 sacks. Derek Thomas has 6 sacks, enjoying another All-Pro year at linebacker after last year's failed experiment at defensive end. And Dale Carter's dedication to the game may finally be approaching his physical talent. Marcus Allen calls him the best athlete he ever played with. On 2nd and 7, Williams on the delay. Hit first by Joe Phillips. Like Marcus Allen the year before. And here's some pushing and shoving after the play. Harvey Williams comes back in a payback game. He wants it in the worst way.
He wants it in the worst way, and he's said a lot of things. He's made comments about feeling like Marty didn't want him to succeed. He's talked about it in the press. Neil Smith said, he told us the other day, he said, listen, this is not a good game. We're not feeling real good about ourselves, and Harvey should learn to shut up because we're not real happy and we want to take it out on somebody.
It shouldn't anger 280-pound people.
No.
3rd and 6 for the Raiders. Hostetler trapped and throws it right into the hands of Mickle. Darren Mickle, the defensive end of the 19. There is a flag down, and the officials are indicating that the play was dead before the pick. This will be interesting to sort out. And Dick Hantak will do it.
Dick looks like he's in charge. He's telling everybody where to go.
I like those caps.
I don't.
They ought to keep those.
There's no play. False start prior to the snap on the offense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
So that means there was no play.
Yeah, but I want to tell you something. There may show on the game sheet that there's no play, but Jeff Hostetler made a really stupid bonehead play. If you want to throw the ball away, throw it out of bounds. Don't throw it at a big defensive lineman.
That was an awful decision. Would have been his 2nd interception in as many possessions.
But, I mean, he's made 2 bad decisions. Watch this as he's running around. Skrepenek on the right side, number 78, slides, so the play should be blown dead. But I don't see an official jump. There comes the official. Good job. Good job by the official coming in. Good call.
Boy, and Darren Mickle says thanks very much.
Hey, you know, every now and then you go pick a cherry and falls off a tree right in his lap. But bad decision by Jeff.
Art Shell talked about Derek Thomas a lot last night about what they have to do to protect their offense from that man.
He puts Derek Thomas in the category of a Bruce Smith, you have to double team him. A Neil Smith, you have to double team him.
Junior
Seau, you have to double team him. So every time Derek is going to commit himself to rush Jeff, you're going to either see a tight end chipping on him, which means they're going to try and get just a piece of him, or the fullback or a running back. He will not be blocked by one person, and he will not be blocked alone by a running back.
They were resetting the game clock because that play did not count, so the time should not have run off. 3rd and 11 after the penalty. And boy, it is loud in here. Thomas. Still after Hostetler. Got him the second time. Fumble, but out of bounds. Very close to the first down marker where Hostetler went down. They will not give him the extra yardage on the fumble.
We just saw vintage Derek Thomas. Derek told me that this offseason he studied Lawrence Taylor's relentless nature. Now, a year ago, he might have quit. Right there, he would have said, oh, I can't make the play. But this is a new Derek Thomas. And Jeff Hostetler is not thrilled about the new Derek Thomas. The old one was a problem. The new one's going to be a bigger problem.
So Gossett will come on to kick to Danon Hughes. Gossett with the best average in the AFC, 3rd in the NFL.
Mike, there was a classic case on Derek's pass rush where they tried to block him with one big offensive lineman. And he's just too quick. He's too quick. They went against what they wanted to do.
Nice high floating kick. Hughes backs up to the 25 and gets 1 yard out of it. Good coverage by special teams. 45-yard punt. Aaron Wallace makes the tackle, and Derek Thomas causing havoc in the backfield already. 0-0 first quarter. We said injuries might have an impact tonight. John Alt playing with a bad back, and it's already showing, Joe.
And it showed up on the last play, Mike. John Alt tried to block Chester McLaughlin on the sack. Now here he comes off the left side. Alt's the left tackle, in good position there, gets the hands out, but right now, stop. As you see it, you see how his rear end here should be over here under his body. He's going to get thrown away, and that's the problem. He couldn't get himself under. His back was too stiff.
Chiefs have the ball for the second time, now from their own 26. Montana in the flat to Allen. Shakes the tackler, dives forward, and just got back to about the line of scrimmage. Eddie Anderson up from the safety spot to make the stop.
John Alt on Friday, his back bothered him a little bit more. Here he sets again on McLaughlin. This is becoming a mismatch. He just can't move. He's going to have to make better contact, or I wouldn't be surprised if he's not out of that lineup in a hurry.
Alt even talked about retirement in the last few days because he says he wants to be able to live the rest of his life. Marcus, nice cut to get free, and Marcus Allen dives to the 39-yard line. It's a first down.
We're going to show you a view from our ESPN goalpost cam so you get a chance to see the patience in the eyes of a Marcus Allen. It's out to the right, the power side of the line. He sets it up, and he just continues to slide outside. Turns upfield and always finishes forward. A Marcus Allen trademark.
He's approaching 10,000 yards, a mark only 8 other players in the history of this game have reached. Marcus hit by Harrison in the backfield. Jerry Ball nearly got him. And then Greg Bickert, the middle linebacker, finished him off. Well, there's some intensity on defense out here, isn't there?
Yes.
It's 2nd and 9.
Marcus, of course, had his own axe to grind a year ago, coming over from the Raiders. And played very well against his former teammates. It still means a lot to him. Al Davis, the man who eventually let him go. Allen again, hitting the backfield again, and Beekert makes his second consecutive stop, and we've got some more pushing and shoving after it.
There is absolutely no love loss here, particularly between the guys that have changed uniforms in the halfback position. Harvey Williams and their Marcus Allen. I talked to Marcus in the locker room yesterday, and I said, now tell me, how do you feel about the Raiders? Is it special? He says, well, publicly I wouldn't say it is, but I want to tell you something. It is special, and it'll always be special.
And just so people think you didn't betray a confidence, he went on to say it publicly. 3rd and 9. Montana airs one out, some contact downfield, no flag intended for Davis. Covered like a blanket by Terry McDaniel.
I tell you, that's a great move by the Raiders defensively. That time they brought 3 people from the right side to put pressure on Joe and force him to try and throw the ball long. You try and throw the ball up against these corners, not good things are happening. See everybody coming from the right side, and it allows the big guy in the middle to get to him. Joe can't set his feet, therefore he can't make the good throw down the field.
Aguiar will punt to Brown. Sky high. Brown signals fair catch, makes it to 26. Only 34 yards, but no chance of any return. We are still scoreless. First quarter. John Alt being attended to by the Kansas City training staff on the sideline. The Pro Bowl left tackle with the back problems. Appear to be working on his ankle now.
17.
Everybody's looking at pictures now. Chester McLaughlin. Hard to turn the pages with those big gloves, though. You know, Mike? I mean, if you point a finger at that thing, his finger's so big it like covers the whole side of a line. Who's he going to point to?
Probably pointing to the guy with the ball. Says, I got him.
I got him. He's mine.
From their 26, Harvey Williams cuts it outside, picks up 5 to the 31. Whitmore gave him a shot.
Harvey Williams broke a rare one outside. When you take a look at his rush chart, that's not really where he runs the football. You see he's run 22 times, 130 yards outside, 61 in the tackle area between the guards, and on the outside right. This is where he's going to run the football, right up in the middle. That's where they want him to be.
And one of the reasons that Hostetler's numbers are down this year, they have not had a running game until the last 2 games. Williams again. A couple. Neil Smith and Dale Carter stopped it.
Mike, I know it's 3rd and short, but I think the Raiders have got to even maybe try a run here again. You would think it's a pass because they need to establish the fact that they're going to run the football. They're not going to abandon it. Art came out with the big play first. They get Jeff scrambling around. Now you got to make this a physical football game. You got to make it Raider football.
Kansas City is in its nickel defense, which has not been a strong point for this club lately. 3rd and 4. Good protection for Hostetler. Can't find anybody. Now goes to Williams out of the backfield. Great catch. Harvey Williams stumbled before the ball got there. He was on his way down and still had the concentration to pull it in for 24 yards.
You know how we talk about you got to give coverage people credit for sacks? This is a case where you have to give the Raider offensive line credit for the completion. Look at the time Jeff Hostetler has. Look at the job on the offensive line. Derek Thomas, a non-factor. Jeff hangs the ball up excellently. Even though Harvey was losing his footing, he still made the catch.
Pretty throw and a great catch by Harvey Williams. Into Kansas City territory, first time. Play action. Hostetler under pressure. Mickle from behind gets the sack. His 4th of the year for Darren Mickle. The youngster who came out early was a supplemental draft choice and has tremendous raw talent.
Mickle gets the sack, but Neil Smith makes this play happen. On Skrepenek, he doesn't get fooled by the play-action fake. He holds the position outside, does not allow Jeff to scramble outside of him. Therefore, Mickle comes from behind to make the play.
After the sack, 2nd and 14. Williams on the toss. Cuts it in, gets a couple. Flag is down on the play.
That is a play, in my opinion, that is not suited for the Los Angeles Raiders offensively. They're too big up front to try and get the guys running laterally.
False start. Offense prior to the snap. Number 78. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Skrepenak to tackle.
It's his second false start, and you know why? Because playing across from him is Neil Smith. You see that happen to a lot of offensive tackles when you're up against the Smith guys, Neil and Bruce, or against the Derek Thomas. When you got really quick rushers outside, they have to get moving a little bit ahead, sometimes too early.
You saw these teams, the two most penalized in the league. Marty Schottenheimer was funny. He says, good grief, we've got more penalties than the Raiders. Second and 19. A lot of time. Haas scrambles, throws short, incomplete. Tim Brown couldn't hold it. Whitmore was right there with him. And we've got more pushing and shoving back near where Hostetler was.
Neil Smith in his second confrontation so far.
That time with Kevin Gogan.
You know, we talked about the offensive lineman getting help. Derek Thomas coming from the left side. Robert Jenkins does a good job, but there's Harvey Williams. He's not going to do anything but annoy him and maybe grab him on occasion. But that time he did both.
Third and 19. Thomas lines up at right end. Draw play. Williams gets to the 46-yard line. So it will be 4th and about 13. Mickle made the stop.
And nickel defense that the Kansas City Chiefs play has been a problem for them. People have rushed for almost 10 yards a carry on them. So if they can get through the night matched up with the Raider nickel and not give up a lot of yards, they'll have to feel that they've improved in that area.
It was a very conservative call, but you can understand why. You sort of get the feeling first team to 14 points may win this.
This game's settling into a field position game.
Hughes waits at his 10. Gossett goes for the corner and doesn't get it. Punt of 46 yards, but they'll bring it out to the 20, a net of only 26. Mark Collins and Tim Brown. We'll see a lot of that. 3:15 to go, first quarter. James Trapp, backup defensive back for the Raiders, was flagged for 15 yards for a face mask penalty on that punt.
And you go down and cover kicks. He's trying to get away from Mincy, and he just grabs his face mask, and they got him.
Well, that's just a silly mistake.
Well, you know, the
15 yards for that.
In this kind of a game, too, Mike, you know that they're going to be looking for anything that has anything to resemble an infraction.
Absolutely. So Kansas City gets a break on field position. They'll start from their own 35 instead of the 20.
Well, that was a bad exchange of yardage.
Line of scrimmage from the punt was just outside the 45. So really they net 10 yards on the punt.
Right.
Neither team has been able to do much of anything on offense.
I think Max Montoya came back for another season, was so thrilled with what he thought the Raiders could do this year, wanted to be a part of it again this year.
Greg Hill, the rookie from Texas A&M, in for the first time. He'll get the call and takes it out to about the 38-yard line. Is blocking back another rookie, Donnell Bennett. Derek Graham is in a tackle for John Alt, and that means Ricky Sigler will go back to right tackle. That's Graham, the fifth-year man out of Appalachian State. Second and 6. Hill hit in the backfield by Harrison. Then he got some help. Winston Moss on the tackle.
You know, the one thing I've noticed with this Raider defensive line is they're really getting some great penetration up the middle. Chester McLaughlin coming off the right side. That time, Nolan Harrison firing up inside. very disruptive to an offensive blocking scheme when the defensive line gets penetration.
And what a huge defensive line. Ball is 310, McLaughlin 310. That's what they're listed. I can't believe either one of those guys is down to 310. And Nolan Harrison is 290. The only lightweight out there is Anthony Smith. He's 265. Chris Penn, an additional wide receiver for the Chiefs. Montana scrambling. Still can't find anybody, and then throws it away as he takes a hit at the sideline.
Well, that time the linebackers and the defensive backs did a great job. The linebackers underneath holding off the crossing patterns. Terry McDaniel staying locked up with the receiver. Chris Penn, a rookie, against Terry McDaniel, probably one of the top 3 corners in the league. He's looking in, seeing what Montana's doing, but yet still keeping pace. When Penn tries to stop, he goes back with him. And
if Montana can't find an open receiver, you can guess there isn't one. Aguiar kicks another one sky high, and Brown will make the fair catch at the 31. It's been an exchange of punts and right crosses so far. 1:43 to go first quarter. Let's go to Mark Malone. Mark?
Well, Mike, I talked to Derek Thomas just before the game. He said the most important thing for him to do is get off on the snap count and get upfield. From there, he could make a lot of moves. Check out the no play early in the second drive. Thomas comes off the football field right here, and he gets the guy beat. It's a pressure. It goes down as no play, but it left a lasting impression. He gets help on the second play. That is Jenkins. But again, Thomas does a great job using his hands, something he says he's doing much better. He gets back inside, causes the tackle, the forced fumble. When they double team him, that's how Mickle is getting open for the sacks. Mike?
All right, Mark, thank you. And certainly he is a force. Harvey Williams nailed by Neil Smith, and they're woofing at each other. Boy, if you didn't come to play tonight, you're in the wrong building.
They set it up for Neil Smith to go hard inside on Skrepnik, and that's exactly what he does. He's set, he's down. Tight end doesn't stand a chance to try and make a block. Jamie Williams did not stand a chance.
Holy cow, are these people coming after each other? 2nd and 10 after no gain, and the Raiders want a timeout.
I've been in situations like this, but Harvey Williams, through the entire timeout now, most of the time, will stare across the line and be jawing and woofing at any lineman, maybe a Derek Thomas or a Neil Smith, and they're going to woof right back. See, he's just checking out those guys in red shirts.
Well, here's Harvey Williams' opinion of why things did not work out when he was drafted by Kansas City.
I don't know, man. It was something personal that Marty had against me, and I still don't know right now. Only Marty knows that. And you know, like I said, I've been saying earlier, I'm in a place where I wanted to play from the beginning. I felt like I was going to be an LA Raider when I came out of college, but it didn't happen. So, like Al Davis, you know, I got you now. So I'm in LA.
Marty Schottenheimer said, you know, we gave him, we think, every chance we could to make him succeed. He was, after all, their #1 draft choice. That is a guy that you want to succeed.
Absolutely. It doesn't look good for your record if your #1's bust out.
2nd and 10. Harvey Williams certainly not backing down. Hostetler in the flat. Rathman cartwheels to a first down, and Mark Collins was the man who hit him, and Collins is hurt. He suffered a deep thigh bruise a week ago, had to be carried off the field. A guy who was a tremendous acquisition from the New York Giants. A corner who has never been flashy. Feels that he and Darrell Green are the last two of the old breed. For the 2nd week in a row, he has gone down hard.
Right side of your screen. Hostetler throws it out in the flat. Rathman makes a catch. Now he throws himself down, and it looks like a head right in the knee. And the knee got him right in the head. Watch the left knee of Rathman. Just knees him and jams his neck back in. And he's down.
It's like a George Foreman right. You're gone.
Yeah, but it's not the 10th round yet.
Used to play for the Phoenix Cardinals. Back to the ground game. Harvey Williams can't shake a tackle, and Darren Mickle got one hand on him and would not let go.
Tim Mickle has been the beneficiary of Derek Thomas and Neil Smith playing outside. People have to pay double respect to them, and Mickle's allowed to go one-on-one inside.
Time winding down. Let's see if the Raiders choose to get a play off, and Hostetler does not. And that is going to end a hard-hitting, scoreless first quarter in Kansas City. We'll be back in a moment. For everybody, Mark Collins not seriously injured, although he did suffer a concussion, so his return tonight will be doubtful, but indicative of the kind of hitting we've had in the first quarter.
Well, the Chiefs and Raiders get together, as Lenny Dawson and Ben Davidson said in the beginning. It's going to be a war, and that's what it's boiled down to. With the Chiefs losing today, or excuse me, with the Chargers losing today, the game takes on significance because everybody gets to move up a notch on them, and of course the teams have got games against the Chargers, so you know it makes it more and more important.
The Raiders have rushed for only 24 yards, the longest run of the game by Hostetler, 7 yards. And overthrows this one, intended for Glover, his tight end, but he had double coverage out there. Whitmore was in front of him, and behind the linebacker, George Jamison. Hostetler now only 2 out of 5, 36 yards, and 1 pick. The offensive numbers do not look good on either side.
There they are, yards rushing, 24-23. Raiders have an edge, 32-3 in passing.
3 in a quarter from Joe Montana. 3rd and 9. Hostetler dumps it for Timmy Brown, and he dives for the first down at the 45-yard line. Gain of 11. Tim Brown had the best year last year of any receiver in Raiders history, and that is a mouthful. 80 catches, 1,180 yards. He's on pace to do better than that this year.
Tim Brown working on Dale Carter. Now Carter's in the zone, so he lets him go inside. Now Brown sees the soft spot. He sees Jeff in trouble, settles down where he can make a play, and knows exactly how far he has to get for the first down.
Second time the Raiders have been in Kansas City territory. Marcus Allen. Thomas made the tackle at the 41-yard line. Excuse me, Harvey Williams, excuse me.
Switch jerseys quick.
Yeah, that's right.
Nice job by the offensive line of the Raiders. Just all they do is get in front of the Chiefs' defensive people and allow Harvey to pick a lane or a crease to go through.
Neither team has even gotten close enough to attempt a field goal so far in this game. 2nd and 5 for the Raiders. Williams on the toss behind Rathman. And upended as he got inside the 40-yard line. Dale Carter and White came up from the secondary.
I still don't like that play selection. It's tough to run laterally on the Kansas City Chiefs. Jeff Hostetler likes to work in a specific area. There's the 15-yard area, and look at the amount of passes he throws. And right about here is where Tim Brown made the catch for the first down before. So that gives you an idea of what the Haas is looking for. And really, people have defended that outside speed and allowed him to work in the middle.
Very meager numbers. Deep. 3rd and 3. Hostetler under pressure, and they'll blow this one dead. It looked like there was movement on the right side.
The Rocket tried to get out of the chute quick and wound up stutter stepping and illegally moving, number 86.
Ball starts prior to the snap. Number 86 on the offense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
No, the Rocket had ignition 1 second early.
Well, you know, that changes play calling for Art Shell and his staff, because at 3rd and 3, you really got the defense playing defense. At 3rd and 9, you've got no choice basically now but to put the ball in the air.
Ball spotted just outside the 43-yard line. 3rd and 9 in a scoreless first half.
I think in this kind of a case, you have to spy Jeff Hostetler too. You have to sign somebody on defense to get in Jeff's face in a hurry if he does break the pocket.
He is the 2nd leading rusher for the ball club.
And what better person to possibly be a spy than Derek Thomas?
Crowd on its feet again. Another flag is down. Glover shakes the tackle and dives to the 33-yard line. Now we'll check the penalty. He would have the first down. Darren Anderson, number 44, makes the stop.
Offside against the Chiefs.
So the play will stand. They gain 10.
Defense, number 58, line up in the neutral zone. Penalty is declined. First down.
Well, the spy was a little too visible that time.
Well, you know, it's interesting. Andrew Glover really had a choice to either go play professional basketball or professional football. He still has aspirations to go play hoop at some point. That time he showed some great feet in dodging Dale Carter and picking up the first down.
First and 10 Raiders, the deepest penetration of the game. Play action. Hostetler to Rathman at the sideline down near the 25-yard line. Jay Taylor on the coverage.
If Hostetler continues to get the time he's getting, Mike, Dave Adolph and the staff of the Chiefs are going to have to commit to come after him with more than 4 people. Look at him stand there. He looks to his left. He looks to the middle. He slides a little bit to the right, finds Rathman, flicks it out for a 9-yard gain.
Rathman had only caught 11 passes through 8 games. He's caught 2 tonight. Second and 2. Harvey Williams straight up the middle. First down at the 17-yard line. William White, the safety, had to make the tackle.
The Raiders are now into one of the areas that have been a concern for them defensively when the other team gets in their red area. Look at the hole up the middle. Nice job by that O-line. You see Skretna come in and block on the middle linebacker. You force the defensive back to make the play. That's from our goalpost cam. Harvey does a nice job of finding the crease.
First and 10. Harvey. Another gaping hole. Near the 10-yard line, the strong safety, David Whitmore, made the tackle this time.
They're running over big old Kevin Gogan, all 6'7", 310 plus of them. Number 66 just continues to pound away and give you a big lane. It's right there. He'll go down hard and give him a lane to move right up through here. Gog just driving him off the ball.
Of course, he was the free agent acquisition from Dallas. Second and 4. Hostetler changing the play. Harvey Williams again. And Joe, you pointed out earlier, Harvey Williams gets the majority of his yardage up the middle. They run 3 straight times inside the tackle.
I think it's great for a little back to be able to do that. We see with Emmitt Smith, Thurman Thomas. If you really look at their run charts, I think you'll see exactly the same thing. You can hide the little guys, get them through the creases quick, and that's where the holes open up the quickest.
Third and 3. It's already been a 12-play drive that's taken nearly 7 minutes off the first half clock. Hostetler again with time. Incomplete at the 6-yard line. Intended for Brown, and good coverage by Charles Mincy. And this will force the field goal.
Defense does a good job of tying up all the receivers. That's one of the problems, Mike, when you have speed on the offensive side of the ball. When you get down closer to the goal line, it negates all the speed you have. This is where I think the Raiders really miss an Ethan Horton, who was an exceptional receiving tight end. Andrew Glover could become that, but he's still young.
Jager with a 28-yard attempt. He's 9 out of 12 this year. Very consistent, reliable kicker. Bad snap. They get the ball down, and Jager puts it through. Are you kidding me? There's a flag down on the play.
You know something? The officials should go over and talk this one over. Even if there wasn't a flag, they should just go over and talk it over.
False start. Offense prior to the snap. Left guard.
Gossett with a great catch of the snap and the hole.
What a terrific job. Look at the catch. And now he moves himself out of the way and still winds up with a perfect hole. And great patience by Jaeger. He just waits and then just poops it through.
Dan Turk, the center, nearly airmailed that one back 40 yards. And Dan will get another opportunity. This time it's a 33-yard attempt. Time is called. .951 to go in the half. Nothing.
Art Shell, like all of us, Marty Schottenheimer, the same thing, wondering what is going on. There's Kurt Schottenheimer, the special teams coach of the Chiefs. Okay, don't explain to us what happened.
I was just going to say, we do not know the stoppage, the reason for that stoppage, but there is no yardage going either way. Again, a 33-yard attempt for Jaeger out of Gossett's hole. Hooked it. We are still scoreless. So he makes an incredible kick off a horrible snap and then misses one from 33. Hold the phone. There's another flag down. Boy, and Jaeger is really hot. Kicking team not coming back out onto the field, so it looks like the penalty is not going to go against Kansas City.
That is one of the most bizarre 4 plays I've ever seen in my life. And one of them, we don't even know what it was.
Walking this one off against the Raiders.
Well, everybody's walked over to Kevin Gogan. So quite possibly, it had to be a personal foul. That's what I'm assuming.
We still haven't heard anything.
What would you like this one to be, Mike? I took a guess on the other one. I mean, it's 15 yards, so pick one off the list.
I guess it's our choice, isn't it?
Yeah, we're pretty much at a choice here. You can write in at home. Tell us what you'd like it to be.
Dick. Well, regardless, they're going to spot the ball up around the 39-yard line, and Kansas City will have it.
I know this. Kansas City's on offense. The Raiders are on defense.
You got it.
And the ball is on the 38-yard line of Kansas City.
And we have no score with 9:48 to go second quarter.
And we have no clue what just happened.
That's right, too.
I wonder if Dick has like one of those beepers where we could like call him and say,
I don't think so.
You know, could you let us know what's going on?
Hope you'll be with us for NFL Game Day. That's next Sunday. It's a special time, remember, 11:45 Eastern. Chris Berman, Tom Jackson, Chris Mortensen, and Phil Simms with the most comprehensive pregame show in the NFL. Then at 7 o'clock prime time, all the highlights of all the games. And then at 8, Joe and I will be at the Silverdome in Detroit as the Lions host the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We'll get to see, for my money, the greatest pure running back in the game, Barry Sanders, who now leads the NFL in rushing 1,082 yards.
David Craig came in today for the Detroit Lions through 3 touchdown passes. There's a chance we might see a new quarterback in Detroit next week.
He lit it up. We are told that Kevin Gogan was flagged for a personal foul for punching Neil Smith. Neil looks no worse for wear. Bennett and Hill are the running backs, and Greg Hill on the toss. There is another flag down, and so is Hill after no gain.
What a great job by Chester McLaughlin, firing through the hole and almost making the play, but got close enough to create a problem.
Offside. Defense, number 99, lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. Repeat the down.
That's Winston Moss. Let's go back to the personal foul play, the 15-yarder that moved the ball out to the 38. Here's Gogan. Getting woofed at, bumped by Neil Smith, and then pushes him. And as usual, when you retaliate, you get caught. I guess the idea is to throw the first shot.
Well, it is. It really is. It's always the second guy that gets nailed.
1st and 5 after the offside penalty. Montana naked bootleg. Throws complete. Got his huge tight end, Derek Walker. Touchdown. To Derek Walker.
That's just a great individual effort by Joe Montana and a terrific effort breaking a tackle by Derek Walker. Look at this. He's contained. Excellent job by Harrison outside. Walker reaches back. Now he breaks the tackle. Instead of trying to make the tackle, the defensive back went for swatting the ball, and he goes in for the 6.
Lynn Elliott for the point after. Knocks it through. Derek Walker played for years with the Chargers as an H-back. He says he loves this offense.
ESPN Sunday Night NFL is brought to you by Logo Athletic. Get real with authentic team apparel. By Oldsmobile and your authorized Aurora retailers. And by Transamerica. For life insurance and financial services, the power of the pyramid is working for you.
7-0. Kansas City leading the Raiders with 9:22 to go second quarter. Mike Patrick, Joe Theismann, Mark Malone, and our entire ESPN crew with you from Arrowhead. The Rocket waiting for the kickoff from Lynn Elliott. Ismail back there with Alexander Wright, a couple of burners. And the Rocket from the 11. Got away from Elliott, dances out of bounds across the 45 to about the 47-yard line, a 37-yard return. We've got a timeout with 9:12 to go first half and a 7-0 ball game. Raiders by 1 game in the standings, leading this game 7-0.
And that man, Dan Saleaumua, is part of a very interesting defensive scheme that the Chiefs play. He does not play on the ball. You see him off the ball almost in a half linebacker, half defensive lineman. This allows him to flow down the line of scrimmage. He's not easy to double team, and he can pursue and make plays. This one against the Seahawks, he just runs on down, just like a linebacker, makes a play. That's why he plays a yard off the ball. This is the only defense that you see that.
He is not having the kind of a year he's had in the past. Of course, neither is the rest of Dave Adolph's defensive unit. Great field position start for the Raiders. Hostetler again scrambles out of the pocket, throws on the run. Tim Brown complete at the 42. Should be enough for a first down. And Jay Taylor on the coverage. Remember, Taylor is in there because Collins suffered a concussion.
You know, we were talking about Dan Saleaumua and the philosophy behind Dave Adolph, the defensive coordinator. When he was with the Raiders, he did that with Golick. He played them off because they're sort of short and they have great mobility, and it allows them to slide up and down the line, so you really get a lineman and a linebacker.
On 1st and 10, Harvey Williams bangs for about 4.
We showed you on film what it looks like. Now I'm going to show you. There he is. He's going to slide down here and make the hit and make the play. Gets the center, slides. See him slide off. He did get caught in the wash. He managed to slide his feet and make the play.
If you go back a few years, it looks an awful lot like Tom Landry's flex defense in Dallas.
A little bit like it, yeah. He's only one guy flexing.
13 carries, 44 yards for Harvey Williams. Here's his 14th carry. Picks up about 3 more. They'll be a couple shy of a first down. Whitmore makes another tackle from his safety spot.
Williams and Tim Brown. No attempts except for one to try and get outside to a wide receiver, and that was Tim Brown. I mean, basically the Raiders' vertical game has become non-existent.
But if they continue to run the ball well, I think it'll open up. Second and a long 2. Or third and a long 2. Hostetler with time. Brown, first down catch to the 25-yard line. Dale Carter makes the stop.
You know, I like that in an offensive scheme. You, me, everybody watching knew when he went back to pass, he was going to go to Tim Brown. They bring him in from the outside in short motion. He starts down like he's going to go inside. There's the motion. Starts up the field, lets the end clear. Little shake inside. Great job on Taylor. Now he gets in the soft area, first down. There's no doubt Jeff Hostetler's throwing to him. Focus, focus, fire.
Hostetler is at 7 of 11, 84 yards. Looks to the end zone. Alexander Wright may have gotten away with a push-off, and that's what Dale Carter is beefing about. But no flag. Hostetler lobbied last year when the Broncos made that big free agent offer to Tim Brown. He went to Al Davis. He went to Art Shell. He went to everybody who would listen and say, look, if you're going to match anybody's offer, match this one because we want to keep Tim Brown. Second and 10. Harvey Williams on the toss. Finally breaks the outside play for some yardage and stayed in bounds long enough to get very close to another first down. Carter again made the tackle. That's the first time the toss play has given them any appreciable yards.
Have you noticed something in this game? Ever since Mark Collins got dinged in the head, very little pushing and shoving, very little join. We even saw a smile on Harvey Williams.
That's a great point.
It took all the hostility out of the game. Not the competitiveness, but the hostility.
Great point, Joe. 15 carries, 56 yards for Williams. Third and 2. Will he get it again? And movement everywhere. Tracy Simeon and Hostetler woofing at each other.
False start. Offense prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
Third time?
Third time.
That they have had third and short and had a penalty to put them out of, you know, like you had said earlier, you run out of options.
That offensive cadence system is not that complicated, Mike. I'm telling you. It doesn't take anything but concentration to focus on a snap count. The Raiders' offensive linemen are not doing that.
So instead of third and 2, it is third and 7. Blitz. Hostetler hangs in there and throws incomplete, intended for Glover. He was covered by Mincy. There's another flag down. And the Chiefs indicating it is against the Raiders.
That is going to be on Robert Jenkins, the left tackle, on Derek Thomas. Thomas starts hard up outside, comes inside. Jenkins has nothing to do but to tackle and grab it.
The interesting choice here, it would be 4th down and 7. Do you let them kick the field goal from here? Or do you take the yards and give them another third down shot?
I think you take the yards and take your chances with your line, because you're going to have third down in 15 or 16. You take your chances here. Maybe you can stop them.
Holding. Offense, number 64. 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down. Third down.
Watch the left part of your here, actually right in front of you. Derek Thomas goes up hard. Robert Jenkins tries to stay with him, and then all he can do is grab him.
Third and 17. Fans exhorting the defense. Big rush. Hostetler just got rid of it. Looked like the entire defensive line met at Jeff Hostetler.
Third down and 15. They put their ears back, and they just come. Derek comes from one side, Neal comes from the other, and you sprinkle in a Darren Mickle, and you got a problem. Here they come. Boom, boom, boom. That's Haas. That's where he goes. Off the ball hard. They try to run a little screen in the middle, but Jeff doesn't even have a chance to set it up.
Officially, this is a 50-yard field goal attempt. Jager's got the leg to get it there. Got the distance, and it's through. So after hooking his first one, Jager comes through from 50, and the Raiders are on the board with 5:29 to go in the half. Line 5th in the AFC in kickoff returns at 24.2. Dickerson from the 7. Straight up the sideline and dropped as he got to the 26. You will not believe the time of possession in the second quarter.
I mean, Joe Montana and his offense have been on the field 26 seconds this quarter, and the Raiders have been on the field 9 minutes. And in this quarter, the Chiefs have scored 7, the Raiders have scored 3.
And the big play, of course, the only big play, the 57-yard touchdown pass. Outside of that, the Chiefs have gained only 26 yards in total offense. Kimball Anders in motion. Montana throws complete to Davis, knocked down by McDaniel the moment he caught it.
Joe Montana continuing to throw, and when you look at his record, when he throws touchdown passes, they're 13-1. When he does not throw a TD pass, they are 2-6. So basically, he's done his job tonight. Everybody else has got to start playing football. He's got one.
Clock running with 4:48 to go in the half. Marcus Allen, not much, but enough for the first down at the 38-yard line. Great short yardage runner, always has been, especially around the goal line.
Just has a great way of finishing. He turns his body. He knows exactly what he needs to do. Very smart, knows when to get out of bounds, when to stay in bounds. Still a great back.
Hill is in there for him now on first down. And Hill will get the carry. Cuts it outside. And Chester McLaughlin showed you a little bit of his speed coming out from his tackle spot.
He was knocked out of bounds by Bob Fredrickson.
Although you would never call Joe Montana ordinary, here's a look at his seasonal averages in these different passing categories. 257 completions out of 405 throws. That's 63.4%, over 3,000 yards, with 21 touchdown passes and 11 interceptions. But this year with the Chiefs, Montana is on a pace to top those averages in every category. Super Joe's projected stats look like this. He shatters the norm in completions, attempts, and passing yards. As Marcus Allen gets close to another first down, there's a flag down. And back to Montana, he will also have small increases in completion percentage and touchdowns. The interceptions would also be up a little bit. Now we'll check out the flag.
Those numbers on the right are incredible for a man who's 38 years old. I was kidding with him the other day. I said, "How's your arm?" He said, "It feels like new."
Offense on number 84. The hole was beyond the line of scrimmage and behind the end of the run. So we penalized 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Repeat the down, second down.
That's the wide receiver, Willie Davis.
So I asked him, I said, "How's the arm?" He said, "It feels great." I said, "It should. It's all new." They've done completely repaired it, but he has no problems with his arm. Started out working in the whole offseason, working on the rest of his body, and physically, he feels great.
Has had his ribs banged up this year, but that has nothing to do with condition.
It would have bothered him before, but now he's worked on his chest, his stomach, his legs, made himself just physically stronger.
Facing 2nd and 13 here after the penalty. And now we've got another discussion on the field. Now we're set to go 2nd and 13. Chiefs from their own 35. Movement on the offensive line, and it looked like Derek Graham, number 74, jumped a little early.
Neither Art Shell nor Marty Schottenheimer can be happy with the penalties.
Offense number 74 prior to the snap. 5 yards, still second down.
Coaches really don't mind penalties as much when you're trying to do something, but making the mental errors like this drives them crazy.
When you're making a play, when you're blocking or something like that, it's understandable. When you're standing still and you jump offside, that bothers them.
So now it's 2nd and 18 after back-to-back penalties. Anders and Allen behind Montana. Screen, Kimball Anders. Close to a first down. Needed to cross, close to getting the yardage back on the penalty. Got up to near the 38-yard line. Winston Moss and Eddie Allen. Eddie Anderson made the tackle.
8 yards on the play. It's 3rd and 10.
This is where Joe has to be careful with the football. They've got the ball in their own 38. It's 3rd and 10. You don't want to force the ball someplace where it winds up being picked off and you give the Raiders good field position.
3rd and 10. Time to throw. Now he's pressured and sacked. Fredrickson has him at the 30. There's also a flag down. The rookie from Michigan State. And that also looked like a coverage sack. Fredrickson, the first time the Raiders have ever taken a linebacker with their #1 draft choice. The Raiders are saying it's against Kansas City.
Holding on the defense, number 29.
Whoa.
Holding on the offense, number 66. Penalties are offset. 3rd down.
You know, this is fast becoming the Dick Hantat show.
It's getting a lot of camera time.
Got a lot of time, yeah.
Well, that's a big break for Kansas City. Instead of the sack and 4th and long and having to punt, they'll get another crack at 3rd down.
Last time the Raiders made a mistake, it resulted in a big touchdown play for Kansas City.
You don't want to give Montana many more opportunities. Here comes the blitz. Marcus Allen in the front. Makes the first man miss, but the Raiders are there to cover it, and it will bring up a punt.
Well, that's a great job by the defense of the Los Angeles Raiders. You blitz Joe Montana on 3rd down and 10. You make him throw to the hot receiver. You get your people out there to execute the play absolutely perfectly defensed. You know, I was talking to Jim Haslett, the defensive linebacker coach for the Raiders, and he talked about Rob Fredrickson. He said he reminds him an awful lot of a young Jack Ham.
High company. We've reached a 2-minute warning. The Chiefs over the Raiders 7-3, and they'll punt the ball away when we come back. Let's check in with Mark Malone.
Well, Mike, if it seems that Derek Thomas has been a little bit silent, it's because he's been getting double-teamed on just about every play, especially a good job by Greg Skrepenik. Take a look at this play here. They try to work him inside on the stunt. Even when he goes inside, there are 2 blockers waiting for him. No chance at all. He goes back outside against Jenkins, who's filling in for Perry, and Jenkins falls for the inside move for the 2nd time in the game. I'll tell you what, he might have something going with Jenkins, Mike.
And that's exactly what the Raiders don't want, Mark. And they've done a pretty good job on him since very early in the ballgame. Tim Brown waits at the 20 for the punt. Nice kick by Aguiar. Drives him back to the 13. Brown trying to find a lane, gets to the sideline, up to the 27. 13-yard return after a punt of 44. 1:49 to go in the half. 49 to go in the half. Let's check back with Mark Malone. Mark?
Well, as we look at Derek Thomas, who's in the spotlight, here's some numbers to wrap up what's been happening to him. So far in passing situations, 9 times he's been double-teamed 7. The only time he wasn't double-teamed, 1 screen and 1 coverage. If he's getting that much attention, somebody else on that defensive line has got to free up and get to the quarterback. Mike?
All right, thank you, Mark, and we'll keep an eye on Derek Thomas from your viewpoint. Now, with 1:49 to go in the half, the Raiders start from their own 27. Draw play, Williams. Room to run up to about the 33.
Was tackled by Tracy Simeon.
Tracy Simeon, the middle linebacker, got him.
8-7. Second and 3.
And it would be 2nd and 4. Harvey Williams again. He will not have the first down, I believe. Looks like they marked it just short. Dan Saliamoa on the tackle. And it will be the first down. They gave him a good spot. One set of chains moved, and now the Raiders want a timeout. They'll stop the clock with 1:08 to go.
This is a 40-second timeout. Interesting, the Raiders' commitment here, Mike. They get the ball with about 1:49 to go in the half. You figure, well, they're going to throw the football. No, they come out, they run the eye, they run Harvey Williams right up the middle, get enough for a first down. Now, all Jeff needs is a couple of pass completions. He gets within Jager's field goal range. So, I mean, the Raiders have really made the commitment to run the football, and they're getting production out of it.
Coming up at halftime, the fastest 3 minutes in television. Chris Berman with all the highlights. A preview of the Cowboy 49er matchup, which should be a beauty. And we'll be back to Arrowhead for a first half recap. Of course, people have been looking forward to that Cowboy 49er game, which occurs next Sunday for a long, long time. Appear to be the two premier teams in the NFC, and the 49ers getting healthy again, which is what they needed on that offensive line. Harvey Williams so far, as you look at Neil Smith, 66 yards on 17 carries, going for his third straight 100-yard game for the Raiders. Hostetler with excellent protection, throws sideline, and Tim Brown had 1 foot go out from under him, and as he tried to make the cut to the sideline, they got that ball.
Well, that's the one thing that happens, you know, interestingly enough, in night games, Mike. You get a little bit, it's a little cool here. The field gets a little slick, and your spikes start to slide a little bit on you. It's funny how different surfaces react to the spikes and the shoes you're wearing.
Of course, they had a lot of rain for 2 days. The field was covered, of course, and appears to be in excellent condition coming in.
It's a fast track.
2nd and 10. Draw play to Williams. Simeon stands him straight up along with Saliamoa as he just crossed the 40-yard line. Joe Phillips also in there. The Raiders do not appear to be in a very great hurry with the clock working its way down toward 40 seconds.
3 yards of the play, 3rd and 7.
Oh, you've got a couple of timeouts left. I mean, you really don't need to be in a hurry. You don't want to, or actually 1 timeout left. You don't want to leave a lot of time on the clock for Joe Montana. Obviously, the Denver Broncos have been talking to the Raiders about what happens when he has enough time.
And they'll play it conservatively, give it to Harvey Williams on the ground. Darren Mickle makes the stop, and now Kansas City will use a timeout to stop the clock and at least force the punt.
Timeout. Kansas City. Their first
I was a little surprised that the Chiefs didn't use a timeout earlier.
I'm surprised at the entire process after they called the second timeout. There was 1 minute and 49 seconds to go. They ran it down to 1 minute and 8 seconds. I thought then they would try to move the ball down the field. Obviously, they feel in control of the game, and they're going to wait and reload the second half. I'm surprised.
The Raiders have controlled the football, but it's the Chiefs who had the only touchdown, and it was the quick strike to Walker, 57 yards as he caught the ball over the middle and romped in. That made it 7-0. Jager came back with his second field goal attempt. He made this one officially now 51 yards to cut the lead to 7-3, and that's where we stand with 12 seconds to go in the half. Now Gossett on to punt. If you're Kansas City, do you come after this with 12 seconds left?
No, because you're less than 5 yards for the first down. You take a chance, let them punt it down.
And Kansas City had nobody back. They were afraid of the fake and also afraid maybe someone would muff it, and they didn't want to do that. And with time expired, a 54-yard punt. That's the end of the first half with our score. The Kansas City Chiefs 7, the Raiders 3. Now let's join Chris Berman for the Acura halftime report, as they try to pull within 1 game of the San Diego Chargers, who were upset this afternoon. The Raiders need a win. to get even with the Chiefs in a tie for second place. And Kansas City will get the ball as we start the third quarter. Jager to kick to Ron Dickerson.
You know, it's interesting, Mike. The Raiders have got to find some points. The Chiefs have got to find some offense.
Absolutely. Dickerson from the 10. Just got across the 20 and leans out to the 23-yard line. Let's get down to Mark Malone. Mark, what do you have?
Well, Mike, as you mentioned, with the exception of the long touchdown pass from Montana, the Raiders have dominated both sides of the line of scrimmage. Marty Schottenheimer says, hey, we're playing one of the best defensive fronts in the league. We've got to do a better job. But it gets tougher because John Alt's back looks like it's acting up, and he might not be out here for the second half at all. Mike?
All right, Mark, thank you. And that'd be a tough break for Kansas City because Alt, one of the mainstays on that big offensive line. Montana with time, throws to Allen in the flat and overthrows. Winston Moss on the coverage. Take a look at the halftime stats. Pretty ugly, isn't it?
Well, you know, Mike, it's ugly if you're a Kansas City Chief, but if you're a Raider, this is the kind of contest you're basically into. You have two very good defensive teams. You're very balanced, and you're managing just not to score points. I mean, it's about as even as it is, but look at the discrepancy in plays. The Raiders have definitely controlled the entire half. 20 offensive plays for the Kansas City Chiefs.
2nd and 10 from Montana. Marcus Allen hit at the line of scrimmage. Nolan Harrison with the bear hug and slams him down.
But Jerry Ball is the one who makes the first hit. Give me an idea what Joe Montana's been up against throwing the football. Obviously, there aren't many yards. There it is. I mean, it's meager. 5 for 5 behind the line of scrimmage. He cannot get the ball down into this area, downfield. That's been the problem. They cannot advance the ball fast past the line of scrimmage. And there's one of the big reasons, Chester McLaughlin.
He has had a big game. Allen goes out as a flanker on 3rd and 11. And they throw incomplete to Lake Dawson, and now an official comes in and says, caught it. And the Raiders are really upset. It's enough for a first down. Now overruled, and it's incomplete. Mixed signals from two different officials. But that's what they're supposed to do, is help each other.
Well, if one doesn't have a good view, the other one has to come in and express himself and explain.
The pass has been ruled incomplete. The ball hit the ground. 4th down.
We have the advantage now of finding out which one of the officials is correct. Right top part of your screen. There's the throw. The ball is in. Now, did it squirt through his arms? That's got to be the question. He got his hands certainly under the ball, no doubt about it. Question is, did it squirt through at some point and wind up on the ground?
With the incompletion, it's 4th and 11. And Tim Brown waits at his 40. Albert Lewis, one of the great kick blockers of all time, won't get to this one. Brown has to signal fair catch and makes it at the 45-yard line. Again, only a 34-yard punt from Aguiar, but no chance of a return. Hostetler talking to Fred Biletnikoff about what they want to do on offense in this series.
Mike, let's talk a second about Albert Lewis. Here he is coming in from the outside. He starts up the field. Now he comes in trying to create a lane. But you'll see Marty Schottenheimer has so much respect for him. He keeps two people right there to make sure they know where he is. When the Chiefs come up to punt, Kurt Schottenheimer is going to have all of his guys point out where Albert Lewis is. That's how much respect he has for him as a kick blocker.
And the fans again trying to cheer on the defense that's held the Raiders to a field goal. Hostetler for Brown and just overthrown by a stride. And again, good protection.
Jeff Hostetler has had the opportunities to complete passes tonight where Joe Montana hasn't. He's just missed long on a couple of them. And watching Jeff all year, all of his deep passes have been missed long. And to me, that's a guy trying not to throw interceptions, but just trying to get completions or incompletes.
He's only 7 out of 15 tonight for 84 yards and 1 pick. Harvey Williams running hard to midfield. Gain of 5. David Whitmore made the tackle and is down. And now the training staff will come out and attend to Whitmore. For Williams, 20 carries, 78 yards. And Joe, he has certainly backed up the boasts he made coming in.
He sure has. I mean, when you take a look at his rush chart, there he is. 62 yards right up the middle, and most of it is out of the eye, and he's either here, or here. He hasn't been real successful trying to go outside. Everything's been right up the gut.
We've got a timeout on the field. 13:31 to go, third quarter. It's still the Chiefs by 4 over the Raiders.
ESPN Sunday Night NFL is brought to you by American Honda, who has been making quality automobiles in America for the past 12 years. By Russell Athletic. For really tough athletic wear that can survive anything, get Russell Athletic. Get tough. And by Motel 6. For a clean, comfortable room at the lowest prices of any national chain, stay at Motel 6.
David Whitmore able to leave the field under his own power, but limping noticeably when he came out. They've also lost Doug Terry, a defensive back. He was poked in the left eye. Questionable whether he'll return. Thomas got a little early start, and they'll flag the play.
Well, they've obviously gotten over the Mark Collins situation, and they're back to pushing and shoving.
Offside. Defense number 58. Unabated pass to the quarterback. 5 yards. First down.
Whoa, I like that one. Unabated path to the quarterback. Now we've moved up more than just offsides.
And these are the two most penalized teams in the league. The Raiders 9 for 70 yards tonight. Kansas City 3 for 20. But the penalty gives the Raiders a first down at the KC 45. Williams slipped as he tried to make his cut, and covered by Mickle at the line of scrimmage. The last 21 plays that the Raiders have run have either been a Harvey Williams run or a pass to Tim Brown. That's the last 21 plays. That is amazing with all the weapons that you see with the LA Raiders.
Well, what happens is they make people defend the speed outside, and they really work inside the numbers, inside the hashes with the running game, inside the numbers with the pass game.
2nd and 10. Here comes the blitz. Hostetler hit and dropped by Thomas. Mark Malone has been following him the entire game. When you blitz, it's pretty tough to double team anybody.
Well, what he does here, it's sort of a delayed blitz. If you watch Derek Thomas, he's number 58. He's right here. He's going to slide. He's not going to come right away. He's going to wait, and then he's going to move on the ball. See how he waits a little, He's spying Haas. Now he sees him make the move. That's where he's extremely effective in pass situations.
Thomas said the difference at being at linebacker instead of defensive end, you have the element of surprise, and he used it on that one. And he just broke Art Still's career record, the all-time sack leader for the franchise. 3rd and long, KC jumps again. Let's see if they were drawn off.
I think that one's going to be on Robert Jenkins. You saw Neil Smith flinch a little, but no one moved. And the left tackle, Jenkins, came up just a hair quick because he's got to block Derek Thomas.
Now the question will be with the new rule. The defensive player cannot induce the offensive man to move by coming into the neutral zone.
False start. Offense prior to the snap. Number 64. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Mike, he can move as long as he doesn't get himself into the neutral zone. Derek Thomas, number 58, lower right part of your screen. He starts forward, but not to induce the offensive lineman to reduce himself and produce a penalty.
I don't know. 3rd and 21. Hostetler throws short to Tim Brown. This is where he is the most dangerous after the catch. Anderson takes him out of bounds at the Kansas City 43-yard line. And there's another flag down. And this one's back where Hostetler was.
This one might go against Neil Smith. Hostetler and Skrepenek were going at it pretty good. The flag is up. Somebody's going to get 15.
After the play was over, we have a personal foul on offense number 78 and a defense number 90. Penalties are offset.
Offsetting personal fouls after the play, so the play stands. Al Davis obviously not pleased with that.
And the official's trying to keep a lid on it. There you see number 78 and number 90. Little pushing and shoving. That was only the beginning of it. It continued long after the play.
4th and 8, and Gossett will come on to punt. Danon Hughes waiting at the 10. 10 men on the line for Kansas City, but they don't put the big rush on. Gossett again goes for the corner. Got very close, but didn't make it. A 43-yard punt, but a net of only 23. Timeout, 11:18 to go, 3rd quarter. Still 7-3 Kansas City. Both ball clubs wearing their throwback uniforms, the 1963 version, and of course 1963, a tremendously significant year in the history of the Los Angeles Raiders as Al Davis took over the operation of the franchise, led them to such great success over the years. Things have been a little lean in the last few, trying to get the Raiders back to where they have been throughout the years. Kimball Anders on the toss, a rare carry for him, and it produces nothing. These teams playing each other tonight for the 68th time in this series, and as a player or coach, Art Shell has been involved in 55 of them. Lately, as a coach, he has not done too well. In fact, never won here at Arrowhead. Second and slightly more than 10. Marcus Allen checks back in. And he'll get the carry on the delay. Marcus Allen running hard across the 30, and I think this will come back on a hold. Rob Fredrickson, the outside linebacker. The reason there was so much space out there is somebody had a great grip on Fredrickson.
I'll tell you, the Raider defensive line has done a great job. Their front seven is just shutting down everything the Raiders want to do when it comes to trying to run the football.
Holding. Offense. Number 87. Penalized 10 yards. Repeat the down. 2nd down.
Tight end Tracy Green, all 282 pounds.
There he is right there. He's going to latch on and hold on to Rob Fredrickson right around his hip. He comes down. He's got him. Now he's hanging on to him. Hanging on to him. The official is right on the end of the line. He rides him all the way out.
2nd and 20. They may mark it all the way back to the 10. Draw play. Hill gets a yard. Well, the Raiders have been tough, and that was Jerry Ball, all 300-plus pounds of him, just standing him straight up.
Art Shell described the acquisition of Jerry Ball as great. Watch it on the right part of your screen. Look, there's a hole. Oh, there's a hole. Greg Hill. He says to himself, I got something. And then there's Jerry Ball, and he's got nothing.
A lot of people thought Jerry Ball was washed up with a couple of injury seasons. Once a great ball player, he looks like he's coming back to that form. Montana sliding, trying to buy some time. Throws to Anders. To the 20-25-yard line. Still be well shy of a 1st down. Chester McLaughlin chased him downfield. And the Raiders defense does its job again.
You always wonder what Joe Montana sees. Well, we're going to show you from the goalpost cam. As he goes back in the pocket, he's looking at the secondary, dropping back. Matchup man-to-man. The linebackers are in zone. Nobody open, has nowhere to go with the football. Comes back to the right to Kimball Anders. Manages to do a good job to get his team in punting position.
And the injured player is Albert Lewis, the brilliant corner who came from Kansas City to the LA Raiders. We'll check on his condition when we come back. 9:28 to go, third quarter. 7-3. The Chiefs continue to lead the Raiders in a hard-hitting defensive battle here at Arrowhead. 9:28 to go, third period. Albert Lewis limped off the field, and that will put Lionel Washington, the man he displaced in the starting lineup, back out there. Tim Brown waiting on the punt of Louis Aguiar. Beautiful kick. Just crushed it. Brown at the 24. Got a wall. Aguiar forced him to cut back in and then hung in there and got a piece of the tackle, but a huge return, 47 yards, and the first big play of the night for the Raiders.
What a great job by not only the special teams punt return unit, but by Tim Brown, showing great patience to set up the blocks. Watch the right part of your screen. He sort of cruises, sets it up. Now he breaks out. There it is. The wall's set. Watch him turn the right side. No one there. Got great speed. Aguiar tries to knock him back inside, but no one's going to bring him down.
So the Raiders set up shop at the 28-yard line. And Hostetler wants it on the first play. Incomplete. Contact down there with the Rocket and Jay Taylor, but ruled incidental.
You want the one-on-one matchups where you win the long balls down the field. You win them at the line of scrimmage. See, the Rocket does nothing to make Jay Taylor think he's going anywhere but deep. So, you know, Jeff only puts the ball where he can, but the Rocket never helped him by trying to freeze Taylor at the line of scrimmage.
Hostetler has missed on 6 of his last 7. Harvey Williams struggling for additional yardage. It's down near the 21 where Whitmore, who's back in the ballgame, makes the stop. And another injury. And it's Sally Amua, the 8-year veteran out of Arizona State, who has had some knee problems, missed a couple of weeks and came back. And we've seen a lot of guys go down tonight. The scariest looking one was Mark Collins, who was immobilized for a while. It turned out he had a concussion.
Sally Amua, number 97, right in the middle of your screen. You see him go down and bent backward.
It looked like somebody rolled up on the leg and then he went back over it. And we will check on Sally Amua when we come back. Timeout on the field. Back to Arrowhead in a moment. Sally Amua, the big defensive tackle, still down for Kansas City. The report on Albert Lewis, he has a knee sprain. His return tonight is questionable for the Raiders. And let's take a look at the standings in the AFC West, because this is a critical game for both of these teams in their effort to catch San Diego. The Chargers, with Stan Humphries hurt, coming back to the pack a little bit. They lost today. Kansas City win tonight would get the Chiefs within 1 game of the divisional lead. If the Raiders win, both the Chiefs and the Raiders would be 5-4, both 2 games out. Al Davis quoted earlier this week as saying, "This isn't over yet. It's going to be a horse race. Somebody is coming out of the pack to challenge." He left unsaid, "I think it's going to be us."
Well, I think it's his football team. I think the Raiders have proven over the last 4 weeks that they're as good as anybody in the AFC. They just have beat themselves.
Of course, they had the turnover on the opening possession, the interception. Since then, they've protected the ball rather well. And this has got to be a terrible sight for Kansas City. They saw Mark Collins down for a long time earlier. They've had a couple of other nicks, and now Sally Amua, who has been a big part of their line for a long, long time, is hurt. And they have some tough games coming up, especially the Chargers coming in here next week. We don't know about the availability of Humphries for that one. Then they have to go against the Browns, who are also 7-2. Then they go back to the division for a couple of games. They still have to face the Dolphins, and it all ends up Christmas Eve in Los Angeles to play the Raiders. Not very nice to give you a Raiders game on Christmas Eve, is it?
No.
Merry Christmas.
And Christmas Day.
Yes.
Rob Waltrip, who was placed inactive, the rookie, is a defensive tackle that they would have available, but he's not. So they're really thin in the defensive line, particularly a tackle where Greg Cragen is going to have to come in.
Now, Pelham McDaniels can play defensive tackle, but they have him listed for the most part as an end. That's a look at Joe Phillips. 3rd and 5. Biggest play of the game for the Raiders. Hostetler ducks under pressure. Can't get rid of it. The sack by George Jamison, the longtime Detroit Lion. That will force a field goal.
A lot of respect for Jeff Hostetler's running ability. Right behind the post. He can't hide. Watch George Jamison. He's not going to commit to the rush. He sees the back block, so he's just hanging there. He's mirroring Jeff. He's mirroring Jeff. He sees Jeff take off. He closes and makes the play.
Jaeger will try from 44. He's hit one from 51. Hooked again. Jaeger, 1 for 3. The score remains 7-3. We'll be back to Kansas City after this. 7-3. Chiefs over the Raiders. 7:59 to go, third quarter. Let's check in with Mark Malone.
Well, Mike, the Raiders have been dominant on the offensive line, and Derek Thomas really hasn't been much of an impact. One of the areas he's improved in is over the tight end. We take a look at the video. Against Glover, he does his job and has some pretty good leverage on him, but he never gets off the play, and Harvey Williams is up inside for 5 yards. To the weak side, Rathman coming at him, gets inside, and again, Harvey Williams up inside. Derek Thomas really hasn't been that impact player, the guy who's causing around the running back. Mike?
All right, thank you, Mark. Kansas City's offense has done virtually nothing tonight. This will be the 8th time they have had the football. They have 4 first downs. Count them, 4. But they also have the game's only touchdown. Play action Montana to Kimball Anders out in the flat. He goes absolutely nowhere. The Raiders have been so tough. Let's go back to Mark.
Mike, some updated numbers right here in the spotlight. Derek Thomas. The Raiders have run the ball 22 times total, 10 of them at Derek Thomas for 43%. And the word has always been in this league, if you want to run the football, run it at Derek, because he'll kill you if you run away from him. Mike?
Boy, and that's been the word on some other great linebackers. Lawrence Taylor for one of them. You try to run away, he'll just chase you down with that great speed. No gain on the pass completion. 2nd and 10. Marcus takes a couple of shots as he got to the 39-yard line. Give him about 4. Greg Biekert and Winston Moss on the tackle.
You reach points in a game, Mike, where plays become critical. Not that they're going to cause a touchdown for you or a field goal position. This is a very critical play for the Kansas City Chiefs offense to at least give their defense a blow and give them a little bit of rest. They've got to get a first down here.
The defense has been on the field all night. Montana over the middle. Caught by the tight end for the first down, Derek Walker, who caught the touchdown pass.
Woo, what a shoe top catch this is. This one he takes right off his laces. He's bending down to tie his shoes, and the ball lands in his hand. Give me the lower left part of your screen. Tight end releases up the field. The fullback's coming underneath. Joe makes the throw. And look at this, right off the shoe top. What a great catch.
This is the first time Kansas City has taken a snap in Raider territory all night long, and there goes Marcus to the 26-yard line. Rob Fredrickson made the tackle.
The Kansas City Chiefs on the right side. You got the right side of the offense right there. Graham and Ziegler, they're going to just fire out. Marcus is going to make the play. That's the power side of that line. Look at the hole that they create. Marcus does a great job of running after he gets in the open field.
Broke at least 2 tackles on that 20-yard run. They get up to the line of scrimmage in a hurry. Montana throws complete to Davis. Inside the 20, Lionel Washington, who's in there for Albert Lewis, makes the tackle. Well, the offense has finally come alive for Kansas City.
And it's coming alive because of the production of the two veterans, Joe Montana and Marcus Allen.
2nd and 4. Marcus slipped as he tried to make his cut and goes down at the 20. Jerry Ball covers him there.
Well, the Kansas City Chiefs have reached an area for them that has created nothing but problems. Most teams call this the red zone, inside the opponent's 20. But if you're a Kansas City Chief, they call it the gold zone, and that was given by Tim Grunert, their center, because that's where you got to cash in. Touchdowns only 47%, 22nd in the National Football League in TD production down inside the gold zone.
3rd down for Montana. Time, scrambles. The 38-year-old guy's going to run for it and has the first down inside the 10.
You know, you're talking about him 38. He's a young 38. This is one thing you just don't expect from Joe Montana. You can defend his arms, but he's never been known as a scrambler. But here he just tucks it down. He sees the man-to-man coverage, and you can see he's not real accustomed at sliding, but he still manages to get down.
Nolan Harrison chased him down. It's 1st and goal at the 7. Montana pumps 3 times, throws incomplete. Excellent coverage by the Raiders secondary.
Mike, I want to show you the problems that are created for the Kansas City Chiefs down in the red area. They have an offense that's set up to go well against man-to-man, so they run a lot of angles and stuff. But here, look at the Raiders. Watch them go back into zone coverage. The linebackers are all going to find places to go. When you've got quick posts and picks coming, and look at the linebackers. Look at how they all have to it. Here, 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 here. They've got everybody covered for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Montana to Allen. Gets to the 4. It almost looked like a replay of you playing against the New York Giants.
The Giants were, to me, the first that created those problems. In our offense, we did a lot of the similar things that the Chiefs do, and the problem was they played a lot of zone. What you have to do in the red area, if you're going to be a red area team, a good one, you must run the football. That defeats the zone defenses. They can bring the safeties inside.
3rd and goal from the 4. The Chiefs trying to put it in for their 2nd touchdown. Anders and Allen, the backs. Allen nailed as he got to about the 1. Greg Biekert with a big hit. Decision time for Art Shell. What do you do?
Oh, there's no question you kick the field goal. Absolutely no question. In this kind of a football game, every point has value.
And they just threw a flag. And call procedure against Kansas City. Marty Schottenheimer saying, how do we get procedure? We haven't even lined up yet.
Illegal formation on the offensive team. An ineligible player was on the end of the line. The penalty is declined. 4th down.
Whoa. Must have been on the play before, because it couldn't have been on that play, because there wasn't a play, was there?
There was no formation.
Did I miss something?
They had a bunch of guys milling around.
It's a confusing night.
19-yard field goal attempt for Lynn Elliott. High snap, got it down, and Elliott kicked it through. That's the 2nd time a holder has done a brilliant job tonight. That was Louis Aguiar. who went up and got it. And the snap from Joe Valerio, who's centering tonight for both punts and points.
Because Danny Vila is out with a back spasm, so Valerio not only scores touchdowns, but he makes the field goal attempts interesting. What a great job by Louis. He goes up, resets it. Look at how he sits down on the ground to get out of the way of Lynn Elliott. This is just terrific eye-hand coordination to make a play. He did that whole thing moving. That was a moving field goal.
That's a great play by the kicker, too, to be able to stop and then still get enough momentum to put it through.
We've seen one by each kicker this evening.
And it gives the Chiefs a 7-point lead with 2:46 to go third quarter. 7 points is huge in this game. We invite you to join us next Sunday for Game Day. It will be at a special time this coming Sunday, 11:45 Eastern, and the whole gang will be there to bring you the most comprehensive pregame show on television. And they'll all be back at 7 o'clock for prime time, the highlights of every game played. Then at 8, Joe and I will be at the Silverdome, and the Detroit Lions host the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Barry Sanders leading the NFL in rushing 1,082 yards this early in the season.
David Craig probably will get the start because Scott Mitchell broke his right hand. Now keep in mind he's a left-handed thrower, but he is out indefinitely.
The Rocket waiting for another opportunity. And gets it from the 7. Slides down at the 22. Good coverage by Kansas City special teams. Marcus Allen getting a breather. And the scoring drive took 5:13 off the clock. By far the best drive. In fact, the only drive that Kansas City has had tonight. The key play, Marcus Allen's 20-yard run. The other key play, Joe Montana's scramble. Here's Marcus.
Here's Marcus. They go over the right side where Will Shields and Ricky Sigler are. He does a good job of gaining 7 yards after the first initial hit.
Hostetler right through the arms of David Whitmore. Oh, he had 6 staring him in the face. The young man who was part of the Joe Montana trade, who has played so well.
Jeff Hostetler tries to get a little cute here. He tries to look to the left to hold the safety and come back to Tim Brown. Watch, you see that look to the left? He's frozen to the left. Now he comes back quick to the right. Bang! But he didn't fool anybody. Tim Brown's on the ground. David Whitmore has it go right through, and the ball winds up on the ground.
Sally Amua is back in the Kansas City defensive lineup. Harvey Williams on the delay. Phillips with the bear hug at the 25.
Mike, I don't care if the Raiders do make a commitment to run the football and Tim Brown is the other part of your offense. Sooner or later, they have got to try and throw the ball downfield and get Alexander Wright and James Jett involved in this football game. They cannot continue to do what they're doing and try and make progress. The Chiefs aren't stupid.
It's always been the trademark of the Raider offense, the vertical passing game. 3rd and 8. Hostetler with time intended again for Tim Brown, and Dale Carter ate him up. We talked about the vertical game.
There it is. The reception's down over 20 yards. Tim Brown, 3. Rocket Ismail, 2. Alexander Wright, James Jett, your speed guys, with 1 between the 2 of them. The Chiefs make a little bit of a substitution. Dale Carter is now back to return the punt.
A high sailing punt. Carter disdains the fair catch and pays for it. Never had a chance. No return after a punt of 43. Dan Land, the first man downfield to get the hit. Joe, back to your point, if you're only going to go to Harvey Williams or Tim Brown, it makes it a lot easier to play defense.
Well, what it allows you to do, Mike, it allows you to play zone defense. because now you don't have to worry about a threat outside. If you play zone defense on 1st and 10, it's a great run support defense, so eventually it's going to shut down your running game as well.
The momentum has clearly shifted to Kansas City. Montana juggled the snap. Throwing for Dawson, nearly intercepted. McDaniel, one of the great cover guys, ran the pattern better than Lake Dawson did.
You know what I saw on that particular play? I saw Joe Montana gain confidence in Lake Dawson that if he throws the ball up, even with Terry McDaniel there, he's figuring that Lake can go up and take it away from him. That's what makes Michael Irvin and Alvin Harper so special. They make plays down the field.
The Chiefs less than half of their normal passing yardage tonight. 57 came on one play. Here's the blitz. Montana under pressure. Throws on the run, complete to his tight end Walker, who's made 3 big catches tonight. Knocked down by Anderson and Bates, who really crushed him between them, but another clutch catch for Derek Walker.
Joe Montana's not considered a scrambler, but definitely mobile. He sets in the pocket. Here comes the pressure up the middle. Slides to the right. Makes the throw. Good catch. Big hit.
Looked like Walker delivered more than he took on that shot, and they are just short of the first down. So it'll be 3rd and inches.
This is where I think Marcus Allen is so special. Just give him a little bit of a crease and he's going to find a way to get the first down.
Number 66 has reported as an eligible receiver. Number 60.
Marty Schottenheimer says he has not begun to age as a fine wine yet. Sigler reports as an eligible receiver. He's at the end of the line as an extra blocker. Allen, first down and more. Nearly broke it all the way across midfield. Patrick Bates made the saving tackle after the gain of 12.
Yeah, but what a great job up the middle by Grunnert, Shields, and Dave Zott. Right at the middle of the Raider defense. Coming right at you, right at the heart. Marcus doesn't have to look very far. He's going right up the middle. Big hole. Eddie Anderson tries to make a play. Great job by that right side. 68 Will Shields, 74 Derek Graham.
Montana, nice fake. Now he's under pressure and sacked. Anthony Smith gets his 4th sack of the season. The young man who always said, just give me a chance to play every down. I'll show you that I can play the run too. And he leads the defensive line in tackles.
Great quickness, great speed. Plays off Green, plays off Green. Now he moves on him and makes the move on Joe. Interesting talking to him last night. Says there's 3 things that we have to do. Out-physical him, penetrate, and hit the quarterback.
He did all 3. 2nd and 17. Greg Hill, the good-looking rookie out of Texas A&M, crosses midfield again. Rob Fredrickson made the tackle, and that's the end of the 3rd quarter. The Kansas City Chiefs clinging to a 7-point lead. After 3 quarters, the Raiders down to the Chiefs by 7, and it's the old folks getting it done.
Well, Joe Montana continues to be Joe Montana. He's making great throws. Marcus Allen picking up key first downs, making great runs up the middle. Marty Schottenheimer told us at some point in the game, if the Chiefs were going to win, they had to run the football, and that's exactly what they're starting to do. They're starting to run the football and make plays.
They had 82 yards of offense in that quarter, only 114 in the entire first half. Facing 3rd and 12 here, though. Montana forced out of the pocket again, throws on the run. Complete, but it'll be short of a first down. The catch made by Willie Davis. Patrick Bates would not let him get to the sticks. Good throw on the run by Montana.
Now Marty's got to make a decision. The field goal before was a no-brainer. Now he's got to make a decision. Remember he said it when we had him in preseason, I'm going to go for 4th and 1s. I'm going to go for 4th and 1s.
But this is against the Raiders. And they are going to go for it. Now Marty wants to talk it over. So the Chiefs will burn a timeout on 4th and 1 from the 38-yard line. And with the rule changes, Joe, we have seen so much of this year. Teams deciding to go for it on 4th down. The fans have cheered for decades. Go for it. And the teams have certainly responded this year.
Well, your defense is playing good football. The Raiders have only scored 3 points. That's one factor to consider. The other thing is you're on the 38-yard line. If you punt the ball, it goes in the end zone. You wind up only netting 18 yards.
And the Raider defense is 25th. Make it 24th in the NFL, or the Chiefs 24th, but the Raiders are 25th on defense. So who's got the advantage there? Neither one of them have been very good in that situation.
I say you throw all statistics out at this point. What you do is you take a look at the way your offense is doing. They've got some momentum. You don't want to take it away from them. You have to go for it. This is a gut check. All short yardage is, Mike, is desire. It's desire and attitude on both sides of the ball.
Well, we'll find out right here who has the most on 4th and 1. Chiefs already up 10-3. And Montana wanting to throw for it. Complete. They've got the first down. Lake Dawson makes the catch.
I'll tell you something. Joe Montana knew exactly what he wanted to do. He tried to get everybody in the huddle before the timeout. He had the play right from the beginning. Sprint to the right. Little sprint out. Lake Dawson out in the flat. Know exactly where you have to get to. Get a yard past the first down mark and make the play.
They drove him back, but not before his progress had the first down. Marcus Allen tries to cut it outside. Nice play by McLaughlin to get a piece of the ankle and slow him up so Nolan Harrison could make the tackle.
2 yards on the play. 2nd and 8.
The second half, 55 yards from Joe Montana. Marcus Allen, 40 yards rushing. A major improvement over their first half numbers. 2nd and 8. Raiders go blitz, and they come. Montana with a deep post for Davis, and it's knocked away. Well, you just can't throw the ball where Terry McDaniel is going to be because you're not going to complete it.
He has so many different ways of covering people one-on-one. Sometimes he bumps them at the line. Sometimes he plays off. On this particular play, he's off of Willie Davis, but he's looking at Joe Montana. The break is made. He closes on the ball. He figures I have as much right to it as you do. What a great defensive back he is, and I mean great.
He is just superb. 3rd down and 8. Montana. Marcus Allen to the 15. Vintage Joe Montana, vintage Marcus Allen, who for his entire career has been a great receiver out of the backfield.
But Mike, that play was made by Kimball Anders, blitz pickup. Here comes Eddie Anderson. Watch Anders come in and block him and make this play possible. Great job by the fullback. He lets the guard take the linebacker. He goes after the defensive lineman, allows Montana to get the ball off. Great job by the O-line and backs.
Greg Hill checks in and he'll get the carry. 1 yard and no more. So once again, the Raider defense faced with the task of keeping Kansas City out of the end zone and trying to force another field goal.
The Raiders did something very unusual. They tried to blitz Joe Montana. When I talked to Paul Hackett yesterday, the offensive coordinator, he said, we just don't see a lot of blitzing because people are afraid to come after Joe. That's why. But Archell made the decision to go after it, and Paul made a good call on it.
2nd and 8. Montana dumps it off, and Anders got to the 10-yard line. Swarmed under there. Winston Moss and Patrick Bates.
He was tackled by Patrick Bates.
This is a very interesting situation for the Chiefs in so that if they do get 5 yards in the first down, they can probably burn another 4 minutes off the clock. If they want to try and drive a spike through the Raiders' heart, they can go into the end zone and try and get a touchdown.
3rd and 5. Montana under pressure, throws incomplete, but there's a flag down. Anthony Smith got to Montana in a hurry, couldn't get set to throw. The penalty flag will be against Kansas City, but obviously they would turn that down and bring up a 4th down.
You'd think so.
Holding. Offense. Number 66. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
Ricky Sigler, the right tackle. Derek Graham started there but moved over to left tackle when John Alt went out of the ball game. Kansas City came into this game with 21 holding penalties, the 2nd most in the NFL. Got another one there. This will be a 27-yard attempt by Lynn Elliott to put his team up by 10. And it's good. So twice Kansas City has threatened to get touchdowns deep in Raider territory. They've had to settle for field goals, but they lead by 10.
ESPN Sunday Night NFL is brought to you by Savan, 100% cotton, no wrinkle clothing. By the new Passat VR6. And by Taco Bell, featuring the fully loaded 7-layer burrito.
11 minutes, 13 seconds to go in the ballgame. 13-3, the Chiefs. And 11-13 may sound like a long time, but it's not the way these offenses have run tonight. They've taken a long time to get anywhere. Line drive kick for the Rocket. To the 26-yard line, horse collared there. Danon Hughes downfield.
Sigler gets called for holding. Montana gets knocked on the ground, and Alex Gibbs, the offensive line coach, is letting the offensive line know that they've got to do a better job. In particular, they're giving it to Ricky Sigler and saying, you've just got to get it done. With Alt out of the game, they've got to count on him to make plays in the offensive line.
The Raiders offense has got to produce. They need 2 scores in the last 11:05. Hostetler short to Glover. Simeon in on the stop, along with Doug Terry. And Derek Thomas also over there.
He was tackled by Doug Terry. Gain of 5 yards on the play. 2nd and 5.
Gain of only 5. The Raiders with 15 yards of offense in the second half. Harvey Williams dances outside. Got away from Carter enough for a 1st down. Out of bounds at the 39.
Harvey Williams, ball carrier.
Harvey Williams may have popped off a lot coming in, saying how much he was looking forward to playing his former teammates, but he's backed it up with his performance.
I'll tell you, both of them have. I think the Kansas City Chief defense has done an excellent job, and Harvey Williams has certainly backed up everything you said, like you mentioned, Mike.
24 carries, 93 yards, going for his 3rd straight 100-yard game. Hostetler nowhere to go with it. Incomplete. Eventually intended for Tim Brown, and Dale Carter shaking his head saying, no, sir, not on me.
Good job by the offensive line there, giving Haas a lot of time. But George Jameson, number 57, right here. Watch what he does on this play. He is not committing. He has Jeff Hostetler. He is the spy. Hostetler slides. He could run for the 1st down, but there's Jameson right in front of him, forcing him to throw the football. Excellent defensive scheming.
And Dale Carter with great coverage. He's had it all night. Hostetler again with a lot of time. Throws short and incomplete to it right over the head of Harvey Williams, and Darren Mickle was right in his face. Joe, he just hasn't been able to find anybody.
A lot of credit to that defensive secondary. They've done an excellent job. Well, look at it this way, Mike. When you're throwing the ball to Tim Brown, how many people do you have to defend out there?
Exactly.
I mean, like I said, they've got to put the ball not on 3rd down and 10, but on 1st downs, they've got to try and get it to other people.
Hostetler only 9 of 22. An interception. He's been sacked 3 times. Now he faces 3rd and 10. Time to throw again, and completes this one to Brown. Then he bobbles the ball and dropped it. Would have been a 1st down at the 49-yard line. And for one of the few times Tim Brown had a ball in his hands and couldn't hold it.
Yeah, but give Dale Carter an awful lot of credit. He timed this hit absolutely perfect. Carter's backing off. They're in a zone. They're playing a soft zone. He slides back. Brown does a nice stutter step, accelerates out. Excellent throw, but just as he's in the air, he knocks it away from him. So when the ball's on his chest, he loses it.
The Raiders will have to punt it away. Low line drive. Gets the bounce. Hughes picks it up at the 20. Cuts it back. Nearly broke it. Got out to the 25-yard line. Wes Bender made the tackle, or he might have gone another 30. We'll be back to Kansas City right after this. 13-3 Chiefs. 32 left in the game.
We've seen where people have run tonight. We've seen where Jeff Hostetler has thrown the ball. Let's take a look at where Joe Montana's thrown it tonight. There he is. That little receiver makes a great catch. There they are, running backs. 10 of 11. You'd only expect 58 yards. Tight end. These are the big ones right there. He's throwing to the wide receivers sparingly because the Raiders have got such great corners. May as well stay away.
And Derek Walker's done a heck of a job with Keith Cash out with an injury. Montana to throw on 1st down. Sideline and wide for Lake Dawson. Dawson playing tonight, getting a start because J.J. Burton has some cracked bones in his lower back and maybe out a couple of more weeks.
That ball just absolutely slipped out of Joe's hand. Just squirted right out, high, hard, and away.
Kansas City's biggest ally right now is the clock with 9:28 to go, and the Raiders down 2 scores. Greg Hill trying to get outside and can't. Fredrickson makes the big tackle. And now Washington and Dawson are hooked up.
Yeah, I guess I'm having a little problem with the consistency of the flags. There was a case where Lionel Washington threw a punch and there wasn't a flag. Not that you want penalize whoever you want, but they've had offsetting penalties before with flags. Now they don't have one. This is the Raiders and Chiefs, I guess. Dawson locks up with Washington, trying to do a job, block him. He grabs his face mask, and nothing happens.
3rd down, Montana throws incomplete. Contact on the play, no flag. Lake Dawson again covered by McDaniel perfectly.
Man, if there's a better corner in the league, they're separated by very thin margins, let me tell you.
Well, you watch McDaniel and Darrell Green.
Eric Allen.
Yes, sir. Guys like that who are just incredible defensive backs. Brown waits at the 35. This is the 7th punt for Kansas City. And they certainly didn't run much time off the clock on that possession. Aguiar hits another gorgeous shot. Brown all the way back to the 22. Returns just across the 30, 9 yards after a 52-yard effort from Aguiar. 8:48 left. The Raiders need something on offense. 8:48 left. The Kansas City defense has held the Raiders to 3 points and lead by 10 in a game that would move them to within 1 game of the lead in the AFC West. The Raider offense, it's been a two-man show. The rest of the team with 23 total yards. Williams on the receiving end of that one out to the 34.
This is a must drive for the Raiders. They've got to get something out of here, whether it be a field goal or a touchdown. They've got to get in a position to put some points on the board with 8:30 left in the game.
Second and 7. Hostetler to Harvey Williams again. Same thing. Short gain. Falls down on the catch. Picks up another 3.
Kansas City Chiefs figured out, well, if the Raiders want to throw short, we'll let them throw short. There they are. 1, 2, 3, 4. They create an umbrella. They make them throw out here in the flat. And that's exactly what's happening. They're taking away the deep stuff, taking away the middle, making them throw 4-yard passes to the flat.
3rd and 4. Hostetler in trouble. Neil Smith wrapped him up and then got help from Sally Amoa. Most of the night, Hostetler has had a lot of time to throw and still hasn't been able to find people.
Sometimes a receiver becomes a crutch, Mike. In this case, Tim Brown comes in. They know they need, remember they hit that short pass before. There he is. He freezes. Hostetler's hanging with them. Sorry. Neil Smith just keeps on coming. Just tosses Skrepnik aside.
So they'll have to punt it away with 7:18 to go in the ball game. Wobbly kick, and Hughes makes a good decision, lets it bounce. And it will die at the 25-yard line. 44-yard punt, no return. Still a 10-point lead for Kansas City. City Chiefs are 7 minutes and 6 seconds away of crawling within one game of the San Diego Chargers. They would raise their record to 6-3, and Marty Schottenheimer would continue his dominance over the Raiders, especially here at Arrowhead. Tough night for Jeff Hostetler. The offense in the second half, only 29 yards and 2 first downs. And now if Kansas City throws the ball on this possession, I'm going to be shocked. Gets about 3.
Interesting with Greg Hill carrying the football. Paul Hackett, the offensive coordinator of the Kansas City Chiefs, in a meeting this week, told his young guys, Lake Dawson, Greg Hill, your rookie season is now over. We need you to make plays. We don't have Keith Cash. You've got to make a great play for us somewhere in the game. And he's counting on his young guys to come through from this point on the rest of the season.
Greg Hill, not your typical first-round draft choice. He didn't come into this club with an ego. He said, I'm just here to learn and do what I can. 2nd and 7, he'll get the call. Wrapped up at the 30, so it'll bring up about a 3rd and 5 and more pushing and shoving. And the officials reach in to separate the player. Greg Biekert tied up with Dave Zott. Clock working its way towards 6 minutes. It is a 10-point Kansas City lead. The Raiders, if they lose this game, would fall to 4-5 after scratching their way back to 500. 3rd and 4, and now Montana may have to throw it. Here comes the blitz. They pick it up well. Montana for Dawson, and it looked like he stumbled at the end, and Lake Dawson a little slow to get up. So that stops the clock with 5:39 left in the game and forces the punt. And Eddie Anderson, the free safety, was on the coverage that time.
The key for quarterbacks, Mike, is to create a passing lane. On this particular play, look at what the offensive line does. See that out to the right? Right there, Montana has a place to throw the football. He's got a lane right through the middle there to be able to make a play.
Aguiar with that one-step punting motion kicks to Brown from the 26. No place to go this time. Excellent coverage. Monty Grohl, one of the first players down, a return of 5 after a punt of 43. Hope you'll be with us tomorrow night because we'll have NFL Prime Monday for you at 7:30 Eastern. Mike Tirico, Joe Theismann, and Phil Simms. And they'll be talking about the game between the Giants and the Cowboys, the Monday night shootout. Live reports from Texas Stadium with Pam Oliver. Ron Jaworski will be there with the NFL Playbook. And downtown, Julie Brown goes backstage with Troy Aikman. Prime Monday, 7:30 tomorrow night. We are far from done here with 5.5 minutes to play. The Raiders' sleeping offense, trying to get something started. Hostetler over the middle of Brown, spins away from the big hit from Doug Terry and has it out to the 48-yard line. Gain of 17.
Talking to Tim Brown last night, he's thankful that people want to defend that speed outside because he gets a chance to work inside. Up against Jay Taylor. Now Taylor just lets him cut in underneath the linebackers. Simeon can't get back inside. Timmy makes a great reception.
Brown comes to the near side this time. Hostetler looking that way and throws wide of Brown again. Taylor on the coverage. There is a penalty marker down, and it will go against the Raiders.
Holding. Offense, number 76. 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down. First down.
That's Steve Wisniewski, who's gone to 4 straight Pro Bowls. Just a tremendous offensive guard. Flagged for holding on that one. 11 penalties against the Raiders, 85 yards. The Chiefs have been hit with 4 for 30.
The Raiders in second place in penalties, trying to catch them.
I think they have. 1st and 20 after the holding call. And movement along the offensive line. Skrepenak jumped early.
You know, it's interesting, Mike. I think that's the third time
offense
they've had
simulating the start of the snap.
Yes.
It's like they do one,
5-yard
and automatically they get another.
First down.
That's the 12th penalty called against the Raiders, at least accepted. There have been a couple more that have either been offsetting or not taken. Al Davis's expression says it all. 1st and 25. The Raiders are going the wrong direction. Big rush. Screen to Williams. And Williams falls down. That may have cost him 10, 15 yards. Had blockers in front. Good call against the big rush.
Excellent call. They had the zone set up. They got some people out in front of it. Harvey just slipped.
2nd and 22. Look at the clock. 4:27 left. Hostetler to Williams in the flat, and he gets out of bounds. Jay Taylor makes the tackle.
Harvey Williams and Tim Brown, I can't even say they've been the primary targets for Jeff Hostetler tonight. They are the only ones, except for one pass thrown to Andrew Glover. Early
one to Rathman early in the game.
Right, that had to be a mistake.
Harvey getting the chant from the Kansas City crowd. It's 3rd and 17. They can't go with the short stuff here. Plenty of time for Hostetler. There's Tim Brown. And has the first down at the Kansas City 37. George Jameson made the tackle.
Well, that's
Hostetler and Brown must be pretty good if everybody knows where it's going and they still get it.
That is just a bad execution by a defense. You know where Tim Brown is. Look at the middle of the football field. There is nobody in the middle of the football field except going to be Tim Brown. The time Hostetler has, there's still nobody in the middle of the football field.
First down at the 37. Hostetler to Glover to the 13-yard line. And there's a flag down on this one. A gain of 23. Will it stand? No. 13 penalties, 95 yards. Well, you just can't have that.
No, you can't keep going backward. Not when you're making big plays at a crucial time of the game.
Illegal shift. 2 men moving at the same time prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. Repeat the down. First down.
Turns out to be a 28-yard penalty because they lose the game, and another 5 for the illegal motion.
And not only that, Mike, it was a different type of a look, a different formation. It's something you put in your playbook to get a good play that now has been totally wasted.
Because they didn't execute it. First and 15. Calvin Jones checks into the ballgame, the rookie from Nebraska. And he'll get the catch and gets out of bounds to the 38-yard line. The first reception of the year for the third-round draft choice from Nebraska.
That's Calvin Jones.
And Harvey Williams on the sideline. 93 yards rushing, 38 yards receiving. He's had a heck of a night. So why is he on the sideline with 3:13 to go?
He needs a little rest.
Hey, he can rest a lot in 3 minutes and 13 seconds. Second and 11. Hostetler completes this one to Glover, and Glover is very close to having another first down. At the 26, Tracy Rogers makes the tackle. Well, Kansas City will give him a lot of the short stuff because it's really eating up the time. And now the Raiders trying to go hurry up. And Kansas City trying to get his players off the field. And now the Chiefs will call a timeout. They did not have the defense set.
Timeout, Kansas City.
That's a good timeout for Kansas City. In all likelihood, they're not going to need theirs at the end like the Raiders are.
Let's go to Mark Malone on the sideline. Mark?
Well, Mike, we've just about chronicled everything that Derek Thomas has done tonight. But the one thing we haven't talked about is his pass coverage. Just take a look at the impact he has when he drops into pass coverage. Here he gets underneath the hook against Alexander Wright, takes away the hook, forces Hostetler back late, and almost causes the near interception by Whitmore. But the most important fact that he's been in this ball game so far is the double teaming he's received. It's taken people out of the pass routes, Joe, and that might be why Hostetler hasn't been able to throw the football downfield to backs or to Glover until recently when Derek Thomas was back in coverage. Mike?
Joe, what do you think of that?
I agree with Mark.
Right on it.
I think Mark hits it absolutely right. He has such a profound effect on other elements of the game with two people being committed to block him. You take out an entire back out of the backfield, which is taking away underneath coverage and allowing the deeper passes to be completed. DT.
First and 10 with 2:46 to go in the game. Raiders down by 10 points. They need a touchdown and a field goal to tie. Here comes the blitz. Hostetler tries to throw. The ball comes loose, and the Raiders have it. Excuse me, Kansas City got it. It looked like Rathman fell on it. Kansas City football, and that could end it.
One of the rare times that the Chiefs have decided to go after Hostetler. Blitz is coming right up the middle. There comes Tracy Simeon. And they just really collapse the pocket and allow Smith to come around on the outside and just grab Jeff's arm. Neil Smith coming hard around the corner, just does flick the ball away.
And now Kansas City totally in the driver's seat, up by 10. Marcus Allen trying to get outside, goes down to one knee, then gets back up, but he's downed back at the 28-yard line. Lionel Washington makes the stop, and the Raiders will stop the clock. They will have 2 timeouts left.
Timeout, Los Angeles.
And obviously they have made their decision. They will try to use them here on this possession to save as much time as possible. So Hostetler with the fumble after an interception on the first play of the ball game. It has not been a good night for them.
After your Kansas City Chiefs, tight end Derek Walker.
And this is Marcus Allen limping off after that last play where he was tackled. This will get Greg Hill back in the ball game.
Marcus takes it up inside, sees everybody there. Washington comes up, just does great, and he just manages to plant his foot in such a manner that it creates a problem. Then he takes off and tries to run and slips again. Here's the reverse angle. Right there when he jams his left foot in to try and make some kind of a cut and keep his feet, just keeps on going.
Raiders were trying to strip the ball. There's Greg Hill. Beekert throws him down at the 25. And the Raiders will call their second timeout. And one of the Raider players is down after that play. Winston Moss, the injured player. Of course, coming up after our broadcast is SportsCenter. Dan Patrick and Keith Olbermann standing by for that. Get you caught up on everything in the day of sports. Of course, a look back at Foreman and more, the remarkable outcome of that, the wrap-up of the NFL. And our Sunday night conversation is with Joe Montana. And then prime time with Chris Berman, Tom Jackson, and Robert Roberts, the complete wrap-up of today's action in the NFL. And some shockers around the league today.
Congratulations to Dave Shula and the Cincinnati Bengals. They got off the schneid, beat the Seahawks today.
Got the win in overtime. 3rd and 16 for Kansas City. Trying to work on that clock. Kimball Anders. Wrapped up as he gets to the 31 by Greg Beekert. And the Raiders, I think, are going to take the 2-minute warning timeout and save one.
We have 6 on the flag. 4th down.
And that's exactly what they'll do. They'll let the clock run down to 2 minutes and preserve a single timeout. So we've reached the 2-minute warning. Kansas City in command. 13-3. 2 minutes left in the game. The Chiefs by 10 over the Raiders from Arrowhead, and a delighted 78,000 sellout crowd has watched Marty Schottenheimer's defense do the job. In their 3 losses, they only had 1 takeaway. In their 5 wins, they had 19. Tonight, they had 2. And as you go around the league, it never seems to change. You take the ball away from the other guy, you win.
Yeah, and if you get a round 2, it's just about even.
Hostetler hoping for 2 miracles here in the last 2 minutes. Aguiar has never had a punt blocked in his career. They put a lot of pressure on him that time. And this one will roll dead at the 34. The clock will run until somebody touches that ball low. And the Chiefs doing a great job of surrounding the football and letting another 5 or 6 seconds tick off the clock.
They ran 14 seconds off the clock.
On a punt.
On a punt. That's a pretty heads-up football.
1st down, Los Angeles.
So now the Raiders with an unenviable task, especially since their offense has produced very little all night long.
Now you really got to try and get a touchdown. I mean, you've got to get it up so that you can at least get yourself maybe an onside kick and an opportunity for a shot at a field goal. I would look for him to put the ball right in the middle of the football field to Tim Brown.
James Jett is in the ball game. He's the real burner in this crew. Hostetler dumps it off to Williams. Williams gets a block, picks up about 10 yards out to the 44.
The other thing that the Raiders have to be conscious of is they have to be conscious of trying to get to the sidelines and stop the clock. Cutting back into the middle of the football field plays right into what the Chiefs want them to do.
Absolutely. And there was a flag down in the secondary. Discussing the options with Hostetler.
Illegal contact. Defense, number 44. 5 yards. Automatic first down.
So they give up about 4 yards on the gain to get the automatic first down.
That doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Not to me.
I mean, you need every inch you can get. You need every second you can get. You're going to go for it on fourth down anyway.
Sure. Now only a minute 30 left. Thomas and Smith getting set to saddle up and rip. Hostetler throws on the run, incomplete pass, and Dale Carter was all over Tim Brown, and the late flag comes in.
Jeff Hostetler does a good job of hanging in the pocket. Marty Schottenheimer trying to tell his guys, don't worry about arguing, just get back and get set because they're in a hurry-up offense.
Illegal contact. Defense, number 34. 5 yards. Automatic first down.
How would that not be interference since the ball was right there?
How would there be no time run off the clock? Still a minute 30.
None did. Absolutely, the clock did. You're right, Joe. It did not run at all on that play. Hostetler, the bomb, the rocket, and tipped away at the last minute by Anderson.
All Hostetler has to do is hang this thing out, and he's got 6.
The rocket had him beat, but the pass was underthrown, and Anderson got there just in time.
Give a lot of credit, though, to that front four. They put pressure on Haas, and he wasn't able to step, and this ball just hangs in the air and winds up hitting Anderson right in the top of the head. Ball comes in. Anderson does a nice job of trying to catch up to it. The Rocket just couldn't wait for it any longer.
And you wonder, how do you let a guy beat you deep when you know that's what they need? 2nd and 10. Hostetler over the middle, picked off by Mincy. There is a flag down, and Mincy knocked out of bounds to the 48-yard line. Now let's check the penalty. What a wild game.
I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say it's illegal contact.
I'm going to say there are people who have hit sitcoms that aren't on camera as much as Dick Hantak.
This is unbelievable. I mean, the Kansas City Chief defense has taken it as an opportunity to rest a little bit.
There's no foul on the play. The contact was legal. First down.
So no penalty, and it's a huge call against the Raiders and for the Chiefs. And Jeff Hostetler wants to know what the flag was for.
Why would you? Why is an official throwing a flag if the contact was legal?
Good point.
What, did he have a second chance to think about it? I mean, your eyes tell you something. I never understand it when they throw a flag and pick it up and say that, well, it didn't really happen. If it didn't happen, why'd you throw the flag?
The only thing I can surmise is that another official came in and said, well, it wasn't. 16 straight wins when they forced 3 or more turnovers. That was their 3rd. And now all the Chiefs have to do is kill the clock. The Raiders can only stop it once. And Fred Biletnikoff is getting his 2 cents worth. They're talking about how, and there's another flag down. And this may be on the Raiders bench.
I think Fred Biletnikoff is looking for an explanation as to how you can throw a flag and not have it happen. I think he put it in a little bit stronger terms because he got a penalty.
I think he may have. But no explanation as to the call. Again. But Fred is the likely culprit. And now Montana kneels down.
Well, Mike, Joe Montana continues on his streak. He was 13-1 when he threw a touchdown pass prior to this game tonight. He's now 14-1 when he throws a touchdown pass.
The Raiders took their last timeout with 1:08 to go. Marcus Allen had a critical 20-yard run.
And a critical last play for him in this game because they do have the Chargers coming in next week. He went down, twisted his ankle. Question is, how much will that affect him as he prepares this week for the Chargers?
The numbers on Montana, nothing to write home about. But certainly he authored the only big offensive play for Kansas City with his 57-yard touchdown pass to Derek Walker in the first half. SportsCenter, of course, follows our broadcast. A bittersweet return to Kansas City for Harvey Williams. He played very well, but his Raiders are going to go out of here on the losing end of the score.
Remember, Mike Archell told us last night that every one of these games has boiled down to the Raiders making mistakes that have hurt them.
Absolutely.
That's exactly what happened. With the score at 7-3 in the third quarter after a big punt return of 47 yards, the Raiders have the ball on Kansas City's 27-yard line, run 3 plays, gain 1 yard, and miss a field goal.
And Montana with the kneel down and have to do it one more time. Schottenheimer against the AFC West through tonight, 9-2 against both Seattle and the Raiders, 8-3 against San Diego. The only losing record to that cursed John Elway, who has bedeviled him his entire career, whether he has been in Cleveland or Kansas City. We asked him the other night, didn't that win in Denver, wasn't that really special to you? I mean, let's get serious. He said, no, it's just another step in trying to get where we are. Now, he'll eventually look back at that and say, boy, that was some night. And Montana takes a knee, and that's it. A bitterly fought ball game between these two clubs. And Kansas City will come out with a 13-3 win. Boy, it was a defensive battle.
It was a defensive battle. When the Chiefs started to run the football, they took control of the game. The Raiders had their opportunities, and they got away from it. But I'll tell you something. We're looking at a great young star for the Los Angeles Raiders in Chester McLaughlin. He is going to be something special.
Our final score, the Kansas City Chiefs 13, the Los Angeles Raiders 3. Coming up next, SportsCenter with Dan Patrick and Keith Olbermann. A look back at George Foreman. The wrap-up of the day in the NFL. Our Sunday night conversation with Joe Montana. For Joe Theismann, Mark Malone, and our entire ESPN crew, this is Mike Patrick. Good night from Kansas City. SportsCenter is next, right after this.